Welcome to Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet. I am Kyle Friel alongside Trevor Culver. Chris Soares and my better half, Kate Friel, are on other assignments tonight, so we get to fill in to bring you a great night of racing. Just finished the second heat race in the bone stock division. Trevor, what kind of racing do you think we're going to get tonight?
I think we're going to get a lot of action-packed racing. For the V8 stocks and for the bone stocks, this is their third night of the season, so drivers and teams are really starting to get the rhythm, and this is when they really want to make that push and say, you know what, I'm here going to be up at the front all year long. And then the late models, that's a whole nother can of worms there. We've got double features for the late models, so there's going to be a couple strategies. You're going to see guys that have the idea, wow, I got to get so many points, get out of my way, I'm going to the front. And then you're going to have the more reserved guys that say, I need to be here in the second race tonight, I'm going to take it easy in the first one, make my moves when they're ready, and be there for the end. Either way, I can only see action-packed racing here. It should be a good one.
That's right. And to mention, Trevor Culver does drive the one machine in the super stocks. They're off tonight, so he was willing and able to fill in for us. We thank you for that. And we also have our third member of the crew down in the pits. That's Jeremy McGrady. We'll hear from him momentarily. We're going to get ready for the third heat race in the bone stock division as the white flag is in the air. One last lap around under caution, and then we will go green. And it's usually, as the heat races go, it's the faster cars into the later heat races, Trevor.
That's right, yeah. So these guys you're going to see are the fastest cars in this class. They're the ones that are at the top of the points. That's why they start the furthest back. If I remember correctly, the way they line these bone stocks up, the finishing order of the second heat race starts towards the front, and then these guys start after them, and then the slower guys at the back, and the last chance guys after that. So we'll see what happens here. Should be an entertaining one.
That's right. We're getting ready for the green flag to fly as we get started with this heat race. They did start early here at Delaware because the impending rain that's in the forecast. That's why we are starting up with the third heat race as we get, I believe that's the 00 here taking the lead. The 58 machine is right behind him.
Yeah, the 93 of Racemeyer, he's got the right idea. He's trying to tuck in on the high side there and get a good groove. We're side-by-side racing all the way back, 3 wide towards the back of the field.
That's right, as these bone stock drivers, there's a lot of them on this half-mile track at Delaware, and it's gonna fight for every position. Here we go, out of turn 2, down the back, as we have a good lead here, but the second place car is not letting up here, Trevor. It's going to be a good race for first here.
No, and that's just exactly what we kind of predicted. These guys are side by side. They're the best drivers in this class, and they show why, because they can race so tight with each other and not get into each other, but they're also very equally matched. They're all good drivers and good cars you're watching here.
As we go, the 58 of Gary Triska does overtake the lead. We have going to be 7 to go this time by the line, but it's still very tight. You can even throw in the 10 of Ian Levesque into that, and then it's 2 wide heading into the back of the field there, Trevor.
Some of the faster cars that we saw in practice, the 17 car, the 78 car, the 8 car, they were the top 5 in practice, and they're in the back 3 here. They're getting mired back in traffic, and they're not liking any bit of it.
No, they're going to definitely want to try and make a pass here with 6 to go at the line. It is Gary Triska trying to distance himself there. The battle for second is side by side. That is the 10 of Ian Levesque and the 93 of Brady Oudman, as it's Levesque able to take going into turn 3.
And also going into turn 3, you'll see the 03 of Matt Langford make a 3-wide move to the bottom. He's got a spot he wants to be, and that's up front.
That's right. He was one of the drivers near the top of the standings last year. He was in that points championship race. He wants to be there again this year as we go out of turn 2 and down the back into turn 3. The front 4 have kind of pulled away, but the 03 of Langford trying to keep himself in that top 5 position.
What I see coming here is that black number 40 of Jason Craig. He's fast in practice. He started farther back at the field, and as you see him into turn 1 and 2, he's making a move to the bottom for third. A little contact with the 93 for third spot, but he's got that third spot and he's set his sights on the number 10.
That's right, as he's going to try and gain positions. The front 2 of Gary Triska and Ian Levesque have pulled away. It's Gary Triska leading with 3 to go at the straight in the third heat race of the Bone Stock Division. It's good smooth sailing for him as he doesn't have any lap traffic to worry about heading down the back stretch.
That's right. Further back in the field, you'll see the 28 and the 17 of Joe Lawrence and the 17 of Colin Willems, two guys that run up front. They're trying to work their way in to the race. Not all these guys qualify into the feature race. Some might have to come through for the last chance, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, that's right. As we go, Triska has definitely got his lead distanced here. I would say a good 4 or 5 car lengths ahead of Ian Levesque in the 10 machine, but the 40 machine of Jason Craig is getting hot on the heels of Levesque as they come around. It's the last lap here, 1 to go. Triska's got smooth sailing. The battle's going to be for second, third, and beyond. As we get a look here, Triska on our screen, far and away. Here's the race for second and third between Levesque and Craig.
Side by side going into turn 3 and 4. They're side by each. Jason Craig with a big move to the bottom. He's going to try and gas up and get that second spot. Coming to the line. The 10 of Ian Levesque is going to take second spot, and Gary Triska, that's your Heat Race 3 winner.
That's right, Gary Triska, the Heat 3 winner. And what a race by Triska. Started second, third spot, and then was able to make some moves and get the Heat Race win. I believe our third man on the crew, Jeremy McGrady, is down in the pits, ready with an interview. We'll send it down to him.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm joined here by Carter Nickel, driver of the 52N machine. Now, Carter, third race here so far this season. How has the car handled so far this year?
Great. Second week out, we had a little bit of issues, but we went out for practice today, and the car's just hooking up great. We haven't done any changes to it at all, and I think we're going to be really fast out there.
And obviously, you just ran in your heat race. How do you take that momentum heading into tonight's feature race later on, as obviously the track wants to get going here with the weather?
We're going to carry this momentum in. We're starting pretty good in the feature, if I'm not mistaken, so we'll have to ride that wave of momentum in there, and I think we can hopefully get a top 10.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Carter, and I'll send it back up to the guys upstairs.
Thank you, Jeremy. We get ready now for the V8 stocks.
Late models, actually. They've switched it up a little bit tonight since the late models are running double features. They don't want them to be the last guys running the heat, so they skip them ahead of the V8s because they're going to run their first feature. Then you'll see the V8s. Those wild bone stocks will go out there for their feature, and then you'll see the V8s cap it off at the end.
That's right. It's so we're gonna see these late model machines out here, and these guys are quick. Laps in the 18-second mark. Some even sub that if their car's well tuned right now. But what can you tell us about the late model division, Trev?
Late model division is as competitive as it gets. There's a lot of guys here that work day in and day out working on these race cars and doing everything they can to make them fast and try and end up where everyone wants to end up at the end of the night, and that's in Pennzoil Victory Lane.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you fight for week in and week out. And the thing with, you mentioned it off the top of the show, Trevor, as we are waiting this heat race to start. It's a different type of night for these late model drivers because they don't just have one feature to worry about, they have two. So that changes how they're going to drive in the heat race and then make sure they're there for the first feature, but ultimately want to be there for the second feature to end the night.
Yeah, it's a big night. There's no doubt about it. And this could be a big make or break night to your season. You might not realize that now, but if you look back later in the year and you say, hey, on that double feature night, we had 2 7th-place finishes instead of maybe having a second and a third. Those are huge points. When these cars are this close in speed and every position matters, every point matters, they got to get it all in every heat race and every feature race. So we'll see who drives with their head on straight tonight and can get the most points out of a big night.
That's right. As we get ready to go green here, it's the 21 of Logan White going to be the pace car out of here. The green flag is in the air. That's a great start by the 69 machine of Lloyd Rawlings. He jumps to the start. He jumps to first place. That's a good start. I do believe I see the yellow flag. It will come out. I guess the race officials didn't like the start of Lloyd Rawlings there. it looked kind of funky there as the start. Lloyd Rawlings was ahead of the pace car of Logan White, the 21 machine. So we're going to have to restack, re-rack, and get the green flag out once again.
Yeah, they try and do their best to see both the first two cars cross the line simultaneously together and make a good clean start. It's funny, you could take a look on the screen here. You'll see as they come to the green, the 69 really gets on it. I wonder if maybe the 21, whether he spun his tires a little bit, that's a possibility. You've got both ends of the spectrum here. You've got young rookie driver, the 21 of Logan White, starting on the pole on the bottom, and then you've got a veteran like Lloyd Rawlings, who he's raced here for as many years as anyone has. But I'm also confident he as excited as anyone has to see no one in front of him. That means he's up front, battling for that lead. Everyone likes leading and trying to win races, and I'm sure Lloyd has that same mentality here tonight.
That's right, and later on in the night if we have a moment, but there is the restart zone. There's a yellow stripe out of turn 4, and then there's the 2 red stripes and a cone on top of the wall, and that's where the lead car, so in this case Logan White, has to get there. As we see around, you'll see it there coming into the restart zone. Green flags in the air. Now that's where Logan White has to mash the gas, because if they get out of that restart zone and he's not on the gas, Lloyd Rawlings has every opportunity to get through.
That's right, that would be fair game, but this time around Logan White in that 21 has a good jump, and he's got the lead with no one beside him as they work their ways through 3 and 4.
That's right, and then Robley there in the 32 machine has a good start, and now Lloyd Rawlings is mired on the outside, and the train looks like it might be able to get by him.
With them side by side behind them, that's all Logan White wants to see. As someone's on your outside or someone's on your inside, you got to adjust your line. With Logan White out front and no one around him, he can run his preferred line and try and put down a good fast lap and get away from those top couple.
That's right, Logan White going down the back. He's pulling away, and it's that battle for second and third between Matt Robley and Lloyd Rawlings. And don't forget the 53 of Brady Smith.
Whoa!
He's there, and Matt Robley's around. So is the 53 of Brady Smith, and that will bring out a caution. Robley running really well, and I don't know, just kind of spun out there. I think we're going to get a look here. Trev, take us through it.
Yeah, you'll see the 32 in the center of the corner. You can see right here, he starts to get a little bit sideways as he works his way through the corner. The 53's already trying to go 3 wide on the bottom. Thankfully, he locked up the brakes a bit, got it wound down in enough time to not get in the 32. In the end, very good maneuver by the 53 of Brady Smith. Let's just hope when he got on those brakes and locked up the tires, he didn't flat spot him. When you're in the heat of the moment, you're not necessarily thinking about that. Goal number 1, not run into the car in front of you spinning on the racetrack. Goal number 2, not flat spot him. If you could do both of those, get no damage to your car, that's going to be optimal for what we can do on those incidents. And I feel like it would be awesome if we had a sponsor that we could say this is the whatever move of the race. So I'm sponsored by Inventory Express Lubricants, who sponsors the Inventory Express Superstock Series. So I'm going to take this one and say the Inventory Superstock Series Lubricants move of the race so far will be that 53 of Brady Smith, not running into the 32 of Matt Robley and keeping his car clean, and hopefully he can have a good run here on out.
That's right. We see the staff here of Delaware Speedway at the 53 machine of Brady Smith. It looks like he might need a push to get started. He's trying to make sure his car will fire right back up. Because you mentioned, first thing is, don't damage your car, especially this early in the heat race, as you got 2 features to go. But then also, it's a little dent on the pocketbook too if you gotta go fix these race cars. And we get a look here in the pits of Robley. Back over to, we got double screen here of the crew trying to push Brady Smith, and then we got the crew in the pits of Robley trying to make sure his car is ready to get back on to the track to finish out this heat race. It looks like the Brady Smith machine is having quite a bit of trouble getting started here. The staff trying to tell him to move the wheel and turn so they can get him pushed. They're getting him pushed, trying to get him going the right way.
This could be a strategy. Maybe Brady's just wanting his tires to cool off. He lets everyone keep their tires warm, and he's just trying to. We'll go with that route. We'll go with that method and say that he's just trying to cool his tires off so he can run some good fast laps and get through traffic, because he's going to have 4 or 5 fast race cars in front of him.
That's right. Well, we're still under caution. We'll take a break. More Rogers TV Delaware Speedway Racing brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Ray Collins Chevrolet. Ray saves you money, and that's the key on Chevy, Buick, GMC. Ray Collins Chevrolet. You should drive by Ray today.
Everybody knows not to drink and drive, but some people still think it's okay to take drugs and drive. Police have the authority, the ability, and the tools to determine if drivers are impaired by legal or illegal drugs. And because drug-impaired drivers can pose just as great a risk as drunk drivers, they face the same penalties, like the loss of their driver's license, a criminal record, fines, and more. A message from the RCMP, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
Welcome back, race fans. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet. Show your support for Delaware Speedway with the latest 2025 season merchandise. From classic hoodies and comfortable t-shirts to stylish hats, there's something for every race fan. Whether you're watching from the grandstands or following the action from home, you can shop online anytime at DelawareSpeedway.com. Order now and represent the excitement of Delaware Speedway in style. As we're back here, we're back green flag racing in the heat race number 1 for these late model machines. It's still the 21 of White in the lead, followed by Lloyd Rawlings, and Matt Robley is now at the back as he was involved in that incident.
Another good restart by that 21 and 69 there up front, and you see further back in the pack the 53 of Brady Smith. He did a great job of avoiding that wreck, and now he's doing a great job getting up to the front. Brady Smith up to P3.
That's right, and Matt Robley also doing a great job at trying to get back into the front of the field after having to restart at the back. He's side by side. We got to look at the 53 here, but that of Brady Smith, he's comfortable in third. Here's Robley and the 14 of Paul Major. They're side by side.
Side by each through turns 1 and 2. The 32 of Robley's going to squeak out front and grab that 4th spot. Further up front, you're going to see the 21 of Logan White and the 69 of Lloyd Rawlings go bumper to bumper and battle for that lead.
That's right, as they go into turn 1 and 2. It's White and Rawlings battling for first and second. They do have quite a bit of a lead on the 53 of Brady Smith. And then Robley in 4th. He's looking to close the gap.
That last lap, Brady Smith was the fastest car on the racetrack, about a 10th faster than the guys in front of him. He's slowly tracking them down. We got 3 laps to go this time by. We'll see if he can reel them in.
That's right. If you can get faster laps than the 2 in front of you, you're going to do a good job of trying to reel them in here. 2 to go at the line. It's still Logan White holding the pole position here for first. He's trying to win this heat race, as you mentioned. A rookie in the class this year, showing that he's not going to go down without a fight.
That's right. Logan White has 4 more corners to put together. Nice and smooth. He doesn't need to set the track record. 4 more smooth corners, and he's going to be down there in Pennzoil Victory Lane.
That's right. And getting those good points that you need this early in the season. He's got a good about 10 to 12 car length lead out of 3, coming into 4, out of 4 for the final time down the front. He will take the checkered flag, the 21 of Logan White, followed by the 69 of Rawlings. Brady Smith 3, Robley 4, Major 5, and Mathers rounding out the field in 6th. That is the end of heat race number 1. Trevor, man, that was one heck of a heat race. We had a little bit of a caution there, but good restarts from every machine there.
Yeah, again, these guys are right now, at this point in the season, we're going to say they're not quite as fast as the next heat race that you're going to see there. But again, they're trying to establish themselves. They're trying to get their good footing on the year here. And this is only their second night of the season. So as they get their cars set up, as they get developed more as a driver, like Logan White is a rookie here, they start to make strides. And Logan White with a big stride here tonight.
Yeah, as we have a moment, we're going to send it down to Jer in the pits.
Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, I'm joined by the 17 machine currently leading the bone stock division after 3 races here in Colin William. Now, Colin, your heat race tonight, how did it go for you, and what's going to be a key heading into the feature races later on tonight?
Yeah, the heat race went a lot better than I expected. Starting at the back was just the main goal was to make the feature and not end up in the last chance qualifier. But I think I got up to 5th, so I'm actually quite pleased with that result.
Yeah, and obviously with it being the 3rd race in the season, how is the car handling for you, and what are some maybe positives and negatives that you've seen so far out of this machine?
Car feels really good. I was really tight in practice. Reset the toe. Car felt amazing. It was just I was having a hard time staying on the bottom in practice, but that heat race, no problem.
And then obviously heading into tonight's feature race, wherever you end up, what's going to be the key for you out on the track? Whether it's going high, going inside, what's going to be the key for you?
It's going to depend which lane isn't going. Just trying to identify that as early as you can, so you don't get stuck and then freight train on the opposite line, right? So it's just about patience for the first few laps. Let everyone get a little bit sorted, and then try to move forward as far as we can from there.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Colin. We'll send it right back upstairs.
Thanks, Jeremy. Great content from Jeremy McGrady as we get ready for heat race number 2 of this late model division. Right now, we got the 30 of Johnny Arts. He'll lead as the pole sitter. Behind him is the 10 of Jesse Kennedy. And then it's the 52 of Jake Sheridan. And then it's the 22 of Marshall Schrank. Then it's the 22S of Kyle Steckley. And then rounding out this heat race is the 03 of Ray Morneau. Man, I don't know if what you can do to get any better than this. Like, this class of this heat race is unheard of in this late model division.
Yeah, as they say, this is the cream of the crop. These guys are fast. The driver out of all of these guys with the least amount of experience is that 30 of Johnny Arts. You ask me, who's fastest in practice today, Trevor, the late models? The 30 of Johnny Arts. So when you're talking about experience, you're looking at those other guys and you're looking for a fast race car, Johnny Arts is there. These are all good drivers, fast race cars. There's going to be a lot of good side-by-side battles.
Yeah, and it's going to be great as the lights are off. The pace car, they're going to come out of 3 into 4, and the green flag is going to get put in the air here as we get ready for heat race number 2 of the late model division. Here we go. Johnny Arts and Jesse Kennedy. Great start. They stay side by side. It's 2 by 2 by 2 as they go into turn 2 and down the back.
Jake Sheridan, he's got another idea. It's called 3 wide at the bottom. He thinks better of it as they go through 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's right. As they go into turn 3, it's the 52 of Jake Sheridan being like, yeah, I don't think I have the room. But Jesse Kennedy at the stripe able to take the lead from Arts. And then Sheridan still trying to get that low side and get past Johnny Arts in the 30.
Johnny Arts is able to carry just enough momentum to not let the 52 get all the way by him. He can peek down there, going in and through the center, but with that outside line, a little bit better drive off the corner, not letting the 52 by.
That's right, as we go out of 1 into 2. There's a little bit of contact. Arts and is that what they say, Trevor?
That is what they say. There's bumping and banging all over this half mile you see out there. The 10 of Jesse Kennedy has settled into a bit of a rhythm, and he's starting to get a little bit of a lead here.
That's right, as we still the race for 2nd and 3rd between Sheridan and Arts. That's the race I want to see. Jesse Kennedy's kind of got himself in a good groove here. It's going to be the back of the field trying to gain positions.
We'll look at the replay here. This side-by-side action, you can see some contact. The 30 sideways out of turn 3 and 4, just hangs on to it. Jake Sheridan makes a good move to not hit him, run in the back of him, and wreck his race car. Again, we got a heat race and 2 features. Let's think about this, drivers.
That's right. Great racing there. And it goes to the respect, too, of the drivers. They obviously don't want to wreck their race car or anybody else's, so good move on Sheridan there as we continue this race. We're 4 to go here in the heat race. Jesse Kennedy's running very smooth. Out in front, Johnny Arts in second. Kyle Steckley making a pass on the outside of Sheridan. He's trying to get the third spot.
Kyle Steckley, he's going to flex some muscle with a big move on the outside of the racetrack. And that 22 car's obviously got a little bit of speed as he's going to clear the 52 and set his sights on the number 30 of Johnny Arts with 3 to go.
Yeah, that's right, as they now all bunch back up, nose to tail on a 3 into 4. Down the front stretch, 2 to go this time by single file line we have of these late model cars. And this is going to be a heck of a race as we go down the back stretch once again.
All it takes is a little bobble from one of these guys and Kyle Steckley's going to pounce on it. He's putting good pressure on the 30 and the 30's doing the same with Jesse Kennedy.
That's right, as we get a little bit of bumping and grinding between Steckley and Arts. Nothing too major there as we go around the back, down the back stretch. Here comes the checkered flag, is going to be in the air. Jesse Kennedy looking to grab that checkered flag in the heat race. Does Arts have a push out of 4 to try and get by him?
To the stripe, it's going to be Jesse Kennedy with that checkered flag. Second is going to be the 30 of Johnny Arts. Kyle Steckley in the 22 third, Jake Sheridan 52 fourth, Marshall Schrank and Ray Morneau will round out that stout field of your late models.
Yeah, we get the second heat race of the late models complete. Man, as you said, the cream of the crop. For the V8 stock heat race. And there's a little bit of a special rule with the V8 stocks. It's the breakout time. You want to take us through that, Trevor?
So I'm not sure if I know exactly. I believe the time is 21.1. Does that sound right?
21.1.
So 21.1, that is a very significant number because if you run faster than 21.1 seconds, you get black flag. You have to stop on the backstretch to a complete stop or very close to a complete stop. At the entry to the pits off the backstretch, you get rolling again and you take your spot in the field. You have to run as close to that 21.1 second mark as possible, but if you're 21.099, thanks for coming out. Stop on the backstretch. Maybe we'll see you after.
That's right. As we used to call it the penalty box. You got to go sit your time in the penalty box,
right.
But nonetheless. And we've always seen too, as these V8 stocks come out, that the first green flag lap, you're allowed to go pedal to the metal because you're not at full speed yet. It's once your car gets into the groove of things is when you got to play that strategy game of, okay, when do I let off the gas? When do I hit it? And stuff like that. So there's strategy in every race, but this division, there's, I think, that added pressure of making sure you're above at that 21.1 or above, so you don't have to serve that stop and go penalty.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's a whole lot of strategy in this one. 100%, you made a very good point. First lap, you get on the gas, you run the fastest lap you possibly can. As you come off turn 4 at half speed, you're not going to break 21.1 seconds. So those guys are going to do all they can to make some of those passes then when it's easier to do it and you're not worried about breaking out. But it's again, a huge strategy thing. You've got old enduro cars here, you've got super stock cars here, you've got old late model cars here, you've got a truck further back. The 91 of, I don't know if it's Cody Coburn tonight, or tonight it's Chad Clutterbuck. The 91 of Chad Clutterbuck, that's a new car out to the track this year. Different body style on the backstretch, you'll see him. The silver 91. He is a different car that you might not see. You might see it on the road. It's a Chrysler 300. We'll see how it does at the racetrack. There's going to be a lot of good side-by-side racing here.
And that's the thing when, as the pace car dips off the track, we're going to get ready for green flag racing. In this division, it used to be Paul Fothergill that just ran roughshod over everybody. So they brought in that breakout rule, and now you get more cars, right? So it makes for a more competitive division as we go green flag racing here. And there's only going to be the one heat race for this division. As we now go down the back, it's a battle for first and second side by side. That's a 23X of Jeff Ferguson and the 11 of Jeremy Taggart, as they're going to battle out of 3 into 4, coming to the stripe side by side.
Side by side, as you say, it's going to be the 23 of Jeff Ferguson at the stripe that time by. He's going to do everything he can to clear the 11 and get back into that preferred groove.
That's right, and now this is where we're going to see the strategy come in to try and stay at that 21.1 or above. As we see here, Ferguson going to come to the line. We'll look at our live timing to see. Again, Ferguson, 21.146. He's flirting with that line very early in this race, Trevor.
Yeah, you don't get much closer than that. 21.100 to 21.146. If you ask me to try and simulate those laps, I could never do it.
Right, exactly. As we go to the line again, it's still Ferguson in the lead. That time he's well above, but hey, Lucas Orr fourth in the field at a 21.111. That's a very fast lap.
Again, it's about as close as you can get, and it's tougher for those guys further back because they want to go forward. They see someone in front of them. They want to win the race. They're pushing the gas a little bit harder. Sometimes that can get them in trouble.
Ferguson, as we talk about it, breaks out on that lap with a 21.029. So once he gets word, he will have to serve that stop and go penalty, and with that relinquish the lead. And that's going to be the blue deuce of Doug Stewart and Jeremy Taggart going to capitalize on that.
You would think that's what's going to happen, but the Doug Stewart machine also broke out last lap. So both the number 2 and 23 are going to have to pull off. Jeremy Taggart, he's going to take the lead in that number 11 car.
There's the blue deuce of Doug Stewart serving his. The 86 serving his. I believe Lucas Orr, his best time was a 21.0, so he broke out at some point. Man, cars are flying here at the half mile in the V8 division. My goodness, we have 4 to go as they go down the backstretch.
As they go down the backstretch, you'll see the 23 of Jeff Ferguson also pull to the side, and you now see the new leader of that number 11, Jeremy Taggart.
Jeremy Taggart crosses the line, officially gets the lead on the live timing here, as Kara Martin in the 53 now jumps up to third, and it's Randy Martin of the 52 jumping into second because of all the stop and go penalties.
Yeah, it's a lot to follow here with all these cars and their penalties and running good laps, but the one you got to follow right now is that number 11 car, Jeremy Taggart. He's just running smooth, clean laps and making sure he doesn't break out. When he's got a lead like that, he's got to mirror his car. And he can see, no one's going to catch me if I run these smooth, consistent laps and don't break out. So that's his strategy.
That's right, exactly. Once you get it, like you said, get a big enough lead, you can definitely kind of change up what you want to do in your car. We got the white flag in the air last time by, and it's the 11 of Jeremy Taggart that's just got to run clean. Ease up at the right point out of 4, cross the line clean, and he gets a heat race win here. As he's out of 3 into 4. He's coming out of 4 down the front stretch, looking to take the checkered flag for the heat race. Just looking at the timing, he will at a 22.126, well within the time. Great heat race win for the 11 of Jeremy Taggart.
Strategy is the name of the game in this class. You want to be the fastest car in your class and be able to drive around everyone and beat them. This might not be for you. You might want to be in one of those classes where there isn't a breakout rule. You can also still be faster than everyone to drive around, but you've got to do it very methodically, and that is way easier said than done. You could see, and when you're a driver in the car, and I could tell you firsthand, when you see someone in front of you, this is also very similar to some people as they're driving down the highway. Oh, no, I don't want to be behind this guy. I'm doing 98. I want to do 99, but I'm going to go out and pass them because I want to be the person in front. That's exactly what these guys are doing in their car. It is up to them to press the gas pedal, but it almost presses itself sometimes.
That's right. Quick, we're going to throw it down to Jeremy McGrady as he's standing by with an interview.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm here with Brady Smith. Now, Brady, in that heat race, interesting in the one turn there, got into a little bit of trouble, but able to finish in a good spot there in that heat race. Take me through it.
Yeah, the car was working good. The two cars in front of me there, I think probably got loose on the inside. I was able to luckily get checked up, not run them over, so it's all good. Having alternator problems with the car, not charging the battery, so couldn't get it fired up after, but I think everything should be okay. A few small changes and hopefully be ready for the feature.
And obviously heading into tonight's feature race, making it 2 feature races here tonight. What's going to be the key in both? Obviously the track temperature might change as we get later on in the night. What's going to be the key?
Yeah, surviving. The first one's big to get through to the second one. Track conditions are going to change a little bit. It'll cool off. Small changes, but just take our time, not tear it up in the first one, survive for the second one.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll send it back upstairs.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jeremy, as we get ready for the B main of the bone stock division. They did mention down there track conditions as it gets cooler, the temperature changes. Take us through how these drivers are going to try and maybe change their strategy or what to do to tweak their cars enough that it's going to better them as the temperatures get cooler and maybe the wind shifts and stuff like that.
Generally the rule of thumb, the colder the track is, the more grip, because you've got a hot tire and a cold track, it grips a lot better. When it's hot and sunny out, you got a hot slick track and a hot slick tire. Too hot and slicks don't go together. You know that great saying, opposites attract? That's similar here. When you've got a cold track, lots of grip, that's what you want. You've also got a cold track and that motor breathes very efficiently and runs very strong. And you'll see some cars do some fast laps tonight, I can guarantee it.
That's right, as we get ready to go green flag racing here at B main of the bone stock division. Great start. That's going to be the 33 BT of Paul Fothergill and the 97D of David Rockwood up front as it's Fothergill pulling away here. Like we mentioned earlier in the show, V8 stock legend, and now he's given it a shot. He drove the bone stocks last year, and he's out here doing it again.
That's right. You'll see Paul Fothergill get in anything and be successful. You'll see further back in the pack, we got a battle for second place. That's Justin Culver in the 78 and the 97 of David Rockwood. They're side by each as they work their way down the backstretch.
That's right. The 78, you kind of got a little bit of a tie to him. The nickname I believe he has is the B main Bandit in this division. So we'll see if the 78 can pull through and have a good B main event here.
That's right. Well, he's done well so far. Started third, worked his way up to second place. He's going to try and set his sights on Fothergill. Further back in the field, you'll see the 93 of Racemeyer and the 19 car of Michael Verburn battle for a spot further in the field.
And I believe I did hear it's the top 10 going through to the A main. So that 10th spot is what everybody further back is going to be fighting for. So that's going to be just as crucial to watch that spot, as well as who's wanting to take the checkered flag out of this heat race.
That's right. It's important. One, again, we're going to go about our goal. We're going to go through our goals here. One, make the race. Two, if you can have a bit better starting spot and get some passes in here, that's what you want to do. But number three, you also want to save your tires for that race later on tonight. You burn your tires up here, that gets you in the race, that's great. But if you're already in the race, save your tires a little bit, because you've got 25 laps later that you need those tires to get through traffic, because you're starting at the back if you get through in the B main.
That's right. As we get a look on the screen, Paul Fothergill crossing the line, 10 to go here. He is cruising in the lead. Behind him is the 78 BT of Justin Culver, as they have pulled themselves away from the rest of the pack. The next guy there is the 19 of Verburn, but the 97 of Rockwood is trying to catch him. Same with the 93 of Racemeyer.
That's right. You'll see on the screen the 93 of Racemeyer and the 97 of David Rockwood battle for that 4 spot out there in turn 1 and 2.
That's right, the 93 is able to get by on the low side. The 27's trying to follow him right through and gain a position, but the 97 of Rockwood is able to try and keep the outside line, and he'll lose yet another spot as the 27 at the line will take that spot away from Rockwood.
The 27 of Conrad Julian, he's got a little bit of a story tonight. He was doing well in his heat race earlier. He got into a bit of a kerfuffle in turn 3 and 4, had to come down into pit road, lost 2 laps, finished last in his heat race and didn't make it in. You take a look at practice results today. He was 3rd fastest of all of these drivers. He's got a hot rod. He's working his way from the back up through the field. He's up to 5th. If this thing goes green later on tonight, I could see him working his way from the back further forward. Watch later for that 27 of Conrad Julian.
Yeah, as we see him, we're going to get a shot of him as he's going to try and make the pass on the 93 of Racemeyer. Not quite able to do it on the bottom side as they're battling for that 4th position side by each. And there's the pass out of 2 as Conrad Julian is able to grab 4th spot from Racemeyer. That's a great battle we have going on right now. My goodness. 5 to go here in this B main as we got Fothergill just far and away trying to maneuver through that lap traffic, make sure he can get through unscathed. As we are going to get 4 to go this time by as Fothergill's going to pass the stripe. Justin Culver still sitting pretty in 2nd place.
Yeah, and when you take a look at the screen here, you're going to see the 333, the 64, and the 1. They're all battling for that last transfer spot. The 1 of Starrett Racing, they're trying to get in. The 64 of William Clausen, he's got that last spot. This means everything. This is ending your night, or this is getting on into the feature later on. So as these guys, you can see them, they're sliding all over the place. They want to race more laps tonight. That's why they're racing so hard right now.
That's right. You know you're not getting it to the front. Get yourself to the dance, and then anything can happen. That's when now we got to look back at Fothergill. We go split screen here. Top left, we got Fothergill, the race leader. Bottom right, we got the battle for the final transfer spot at 10, currently being held by the 333 of Liam Boschel, and it's the 1 of Starrett Racing and the, like you said, 64 of William Lawson battling for it. It's a 3-horse race here for the final transfer spot.
That's right. As much as we always want to focus on the leader of Paul Fothergill because he's the guy winning the race, this is the real race. The 333 slides up the racetrack in 3 and 4, and the 1 of Starrett Racing is going to go down to the bottom.
Turn 3 and 4, as we mentioned that, there's some lap traffic as well, though, that they're going to have to maneuver around. That's the 22 machine, and they cross the line. It's still the Starrett Racing machine in 10th, with now Cassie Howard in 11th. If she can try and work her way up, but it's going to be the battle here of where they're going to finish. Is it Liam Boschel going to finish 10th? Starrett Racing? We're going to have to wait to find out here as we are finally getting the checkered flag around. Get the final stats here. It will be Liam Boschel in the 333 grabbing that final transfer spot, and of course the 33 of Paul Fothergill grabbing the win here. So he will obviously go to the A main, and what a B main that was. A lot of cars out there, a lot of good racing.
Yes, no, and that's exactly right. And I couldn't quite keep up on my Race Monitor app here and see what happened, but the 64 of William Clausen, Starrett Racing in the 1, and the 333 of Liam Boschel, they were all battling for that last spot. Someone in front of them slid back. Someone had a problem and didn't finish the race. I'm not sure who that was, but with those guys racing as hard as they were, they knew that we have to get in that last spot, and they didn't know someone's going to fall out. They were all battling for that last spot. Thankfully, someone else had a problem, and they worked their way in. But you never know that. When you're out there battling for that last spot, they probably didn't even know they're battling last spot. Every single position matters. This could be the difference between them getting 0 points later in the feature race or getting however many points you get for last, or if they end up finishing 15th. It's huge whether you make that race or not.
Yeah, that's right. We got some time. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet.
Bring the family to Pizza Hut's all-you-can-eat buffet. Fresh pizzas, pasta, and salads, something for everyone. Great taste, great time, all in one place. Pizza Hut, where family meals are unforgettable.
Jeff from Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff here, and we are back for another incredible season of Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff. We're going to tour some amazing backyards. We're going to meet up with some great folks, and we're going to cook some incredible food. Join us Thursdays at 7:30 for Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff.
In baseball, there's nothing more important than making it home.
George Springer has tied the game.
Doesn't matter how you get there.
It's gone!
But I do it with style.
Boy, has he got some kind of power.
And a little swagger, too.
Because no matter where you happen to be.
Oh, what a play!
There's only one place.
Got it!
Jays fans call home.
Sportsnet. Sportsnet.
Sportsnet.
Sportsnet, home of the Blue Jays.
Welcome back, race fans. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet. The biggest events of the summer are rolling into Delaware Speedway. From the high-powered ISMA Super Modifieds on June 6th to the intense battles of the Dayco Super Stocks and the APC Series Late Models on June 27th and 28th, the action never stops. Don't miss out. Secure your tickets now at DelawareSpeedway.com and be a part of the thrill. Man, it's been such a great day of racing so far. Heat races are now complete. Now we're going to get into the feature races, and we're going to start with the ever so fast division of the late models. Trevor, man, what are you going to look for in this first of two features for this late model division?
I'm going to look for the guys who make smart decisions, because that's going to help them in this race, and that's going to help them in the next race. And ultimately, that's going to help them throughout the season. Tonight could be a huge night that swings you a little bit further ahead than these guys, or puts you in a hole that you're going to have to crawl out through the duration of the season. So everyone has to race with their heads on. They've got a 35-lap feature now, and they've got a 35-lap feature later. Let's run 70 laps. That's the number one strategy. Run 70 laps. After that, let's get to the front.
That's right. And they say in sport, it's like you just gotta race smart, you gotta play smart, and you gotta give yourself a chance. You don't win the championship in the first 2 weeks of the season, but you sure can put yourself in a big hole that might be insurmountable to climb out of early on in the year. So these, like you said, these racers have to race smart, race fast, and put it all together with a good strategy.
Yeah, and it's really the best of both worlds. And people will sometimes ask me that, what's your strategy? You have to be as cautiously aggressive as you can possibly be. There are so many good race cars here, and everyone is so close to each other. If you lay back, you are typically not that much faster and better than everyone, that you can methodically work your way through the field. You got to have your elbows out. You got to be racing hard with these guys, and when there's a spot this big, you got to fit your car in there.
That's right.
It's very easy, again, to say cautiously aggressive, but it is very hard to do on the racetrack, because you see a spot, you also have to know the drivers around you, which a lot of these guys have been racing in this class for a long time. There's a couple rookies in the field and a couple guys who have raced for a couple years and they're back in the field, but it's really about knowing the drivers around you, and when you see an opening or when you see an opportunity, should I take this move? Should I make this move? Who's this guy here? Is he going to give me an inch, or is this maybe something I better wait another lap or two and see if there's a bigger opportunity, a bigger hole that I can put my car in and maybe make my car there for the end of those 70 laps?
That's right. Well, we got some time. We'll send it down to the pits. Jeremy McGrady.
Thanks so much, Kyle. I'm here with Lucas, our driver of the 95 machine here in the V8 stock. Now, Lucas, how did your heat race go for you, and what's going to be a key for you heading into the feature races tonight?
It went pretty good. Just broke out later in the race, but other than that, the car was running great.
And then obviously you have, in my humble opinion, one of the best paint schemes out here on the track with the 95 Lightning McQueen themed. After racing more of a stylish, what made you switch from the original 95 from last year to this year going with this scheme?
It was an older car that my dad used to run, and we just figured we'd change it up since it's a new car.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Lucas, and we'll send it back upstairs.
Thank you, Jeremy. Great content. We'll be back with more Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet.
Ray Collins Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Steve McCaw from Ray Cullen Chevrolet. Welcome to the 2025 race season. From the Ray Cullen Chevrolet family, we are excited about another great year.
Hi, I'm Kathleen from Hiking with Kathleen. Please join me this season where I bring you on my great adventures of hiking, paddling, and camping. And I bring you up close to wildlife as I see them on my hikes.
For 25 years, you've been helping to make our roads safer by doing the right thing. You've been the designated driver, you've stayed over, called home, you've called a cab or a friend, and planned ahead. Let's keep doing the right thing. Support sober driving by getting yourself and your friends home safely.
Do the right thing.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Welcome back. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet. Friday nights at Delaware Speedway are packed with excitement. Honor our heroes on First Responders Night, June 13th. Celebrate a racing legend at the Earl Ross Memorial Late Model Race, June 20th. And meet your favorite drivers during multiple autograph nights. Feel the adrenaline with King of the Hill spectator races. Don't miss a moment. Get your tickets now at DelawareSpeedway.com. We are back with late model feature number 1. The pace car is off the track. These cars are coming to the line. Green flag in the air. We're racing. And it's White and Rawlings leading the way. What a good start. It's side by side. We'll see what the strategy is here, as the inside line is going to be the one that's the fastest out of here.
Chain reaction in turn 1 and 2. The 32 of Robley got bent out of shape. Everyone in that top line, bumper to bumper, slid backwards.
That's right, yeah. So that's the thing. You find the line, and as soon as one car kind of buckles up, the rest of them there. Lloyd Rawlings is having trouble. He's going to fall back to the back of the pack. It's White in the 53 battling here to the line, nose to tail.
I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, you got some of these drivers that have raced for a long time in this class. Then you've got a couple other drivers. Those two drivers are the ones that are running first and second. The 21 of Logan White, a rookie, and the 53 of Brady Smith. Very experienced drivers. He's taken a couple years off of the racing world. He's now back in a race car. And if you want to see a guy that wants to win a race, I'd love to introduce you to the 53 of Brady Smith. He's got the eye of the tiger, and he's trying to get a feature win here tonight.
That's right. That's a great battle for 1 and 2. As we get a turnaround out of 3 into 4. And they're gonna try and stay green as long as we can, but the traffic's gonna come, and the caution is out as we have 26 to go. He does get spun around. That's the 5 of David Mathers. He got spun around and down to pit road, but the caution is out. So now they're going to have to re-rack and stack and restart this race. It's going to be 27 to go here, as the 5 causing that caution there, as you just spun out of 3 into 4 down the backside. The crew, we get a look at them. The crew's looking at what are we going to do? They're going to check some tire pressure and see if that's the issue there. But Trevor, what did you see live there at the 5 for the 5 maybe spinning out?
As we mentioned, this is a tough class. David Mathers, he's a rookie in the class this year. Big jump up to the class. He's a very talented race car driver, but it's a big jump. And when you're making that big jump and you're trying to hang with these faster guys, you're running as fast as you possibly can. He crossed that edge. You're right on the razor's edge of spinning out of control. And that's how you find that edge, is you go by it sometimes, and he went by it, so they're going to adjust on the car, hopefully make it a little bit better to his liking, and he's going to go out there and continue to ride as hard as he can, because that's ultimately how you learn.
That's right, exactly. He's able to get back out. The lights are off the pace car. We're going to get the green flag racing here as the cars come out of 3 into 4 into the restart zone. 27 to go here in feature number 1 of this late model division. It is the 21 of Logan White going to start the pace, but the 53 of Brady Smith looking to have a good start on the outside, and he does going into turn 1. He's a nose ahead of White, and he's going to take the lead.
Clear down the backstretch, new race leader. That's the 53 of Brady Smith. The 22 of Kyle Steckley. He's going to try and follow right in behind him.
He does just that. Now he's on the rear deck, but as Steckley was going to try and go down, but Smith, nice block maneuver there as they go up down the backstretch into turn 3. Brady Smith leading the way. Kyle Steckley in that 22S in second. 2 wide here for 3rd and 4th. But Logan White able to keep 3rd. Jesse Kennedy's making his charge up the field, and he's going to try and gain some spots. The 52 of Jake Sheridan. New leader Kyle Steckley out down the back as he goes into 3 and 4. Man, Kyle Steckley, one heck of a racer on the track here tonight.
Kyle Steckley, that's right, one heck of a race car driver. It doesn't matter if you put him in a shopping cart, he could drive the heck out of it. Up front, you see Kyle Steckley. That's a new race car for that team this year. He's sure making it work tonight.
Yeah, as we get a look here, the 32 of Matt Robley, the 03 of Ray Morneau, and I believe as we see there, the other 22 of Marshall Drake in a battle here side by side. They're trying to fight and inch their way, and now it's Smith and Robley battling for 2nd and 3rd, side by side going into 3.
Sheridan's going to take that spot in 2nd. 3rd will be Brady Smith. He ducks back in the line, and 4th behind him on his heels. That's the 21 of Logan White.
My goodness, what a race here. The 52 of Sheridan, the 53 of Brady Smith. But we got the 10 of Jesse Kennedy trying to make a charge. He's currently sitting in 5th. He's trying to pass. That's the 21 of Logan White for that 4th position.
You'll see him on the screen there. There's that experienced driver. His name is Jesse Kennedy. He's won more races at this racetrack than a lot of other guys out here, and he's going to try and make his way up to the front.
That's right, as we go. He's trying to go the inside on White. He's almost there. He's about less than a half a car off of that pass. Out of turn 2, he makes that pass as Logan White washes up the track, and he's going to lose a couple of spots as the 32 and the 03 pick the skids of that.
One other factor that you have to bring in this whole equation of close side-by-side racing, as we're running right now, there's a couple raindrops that are falling. The grip is going to be gone. These race cars have slick tires, no tread. It's going to be a little greasy out there.
That is right here, the 32. We see the 32 of Matt Robley and Morneau in a battle, but it's Kyle Steckley firm in the lead. We have going to be 17 to go at the stripe. Steckley in cruise control, it seems like right now, as he's got himself a great lead.
These drivers that are out there on the racetrack, they've got spotters in their ear. The spotters are telling them how they're doing, what lap times they're running. Kyle Steckley knows he's got a lead. His spotter's telling him what lap times he's running and if he can afford to cruise. As that 52 of Jake Sheridan's running as hard as he can to close in, the Kyle Steckley crew will tell him, hey, you've got a gap, don't burn it up. Or they'll say, hey, he's coming, get back on it. As the 52's picking up the speed.
We got a wreck out of turn 2. A couple of cars around. That's the 69 of Lloyd Rawlings and the 14 of Paul Major. That'll bring out a caution here, as that was some stuff here. Take us through it. We got a replay for you, Trevor.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see at this angle. It looks like it's, again, just a chain reaction. A couple cars got bunged up on the outside. The 69 got on the brakes to slow down, and the 14 had nowhere to go, ran into him.
Now we're under the red flag condition as they try and get these machines cleaned up off the track. And we're going to have another quick look here. Trev, take us through it again.
Yeah, again, you'll see as they go in, the 22 washes up, the 30 then loses speed, the 69 then loses speed, and the 14, again, nowhere to go. That's that chain reaction. The amount of speed that these guys carries going around those corners, being inches apart from each other, and then trying to make that split move decision to not run into them, it's pretty difficult. Sometimes you can't do anything but close your eyes and hold on when there's no time or no room to make another move and avoid.
That's right. We see the window net down of the 14 of Paul Major, so we'll have to see if that ends his night or if he's able to continue. But as we got some time in red flag conditions, we'll go for a break. More race, Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Cullen Chevrolet after this.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hey, you want to see a show on Rogers TV that doesn't feature any human stars? Well, you've come to the right place. Watch Crumpet Corner, this brand new show full of laughs and, weirdness, chaos.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy. Or you could use the Arrive Alive smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
Welcome back. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Cullen Chevrolet. Getting a shot of some precipitation in the skies as it makes its way here to Delaware Speedway. But the biggest events of the summer are rolling into Delaware Speedway. From the high-powered ISMA Super Modifieds on June 6th to the intense battles of the Dayco Super Stocks and the APC Series Late Models on June 27th and 28th, the action never stops. Don't miss out. Secure your tickets now at DelawareSpeedway.com and be a part of the thrill. We mentioned the raindrops. These tires, no tread. These are slicks. Strategy is kind of washed out, if you say, Trevor, as you try and maneuver around the racetrack with this precipitation.
Yeah, right now, it's too unfortunate. When that caution came out and the precipitation started all at once, the track really does dry up. When there's cars still going around the racetrack at that high rate of speed with 4 tires on each car times, what do we have, 10 or 11 of these guys, let's say we got 11 of them, 44 tires, carrying that heat, carrying that friction on the pavement and keeping it dry, no problem. As soon as you stop like we did under that red flag, the track, it just gets wet.
That's right, as we're gonna get still under the yellow flag conditions here, as I think race control is obviously going to monitor the situation, make sure that ultimately the safety of the drivers and everybody involved is first and foremost, because you mentioned these cars go fast, they don't have tread, so anything could happen in a split second, so they want to make sure everything is well under control. We still under caution here. In a super stock, what kind of take us through the difference of something you might go through in the rain than these late models might?
As I mentioned before, on these late models, they're slicks. The tires that we run on our super stocks, they're not quite like a radial tire that you would run on your everyday driver that you're running on the road. They're kind of a hybrid in between a slick and in between an everyday tire that you're running down the 401 or 402. So we have a little more grip, still not a lot, but a little more, quite a bit more actually. We have a little more tire, let's put it that way, but we have a whole lot more grip than these guys do when it's raining. And I'm not race control, I'm not one making the decision, but if anything, maybe they think about getting cars back on the track that have those radial tires. That's the bone stocks, there's so many of them. maybe they can get them to run out there with this spit, because in that little bit of spit, with that many cars, creating all that heat on the track with radial tires, they can do it, and they can do it okay. With these cars, it just can't happen. So I think we kind of have to think about trying to get some heat back into the racetrack, because when that heat is lost, which as you and I are both in our sweaters and jackets and whatever, it's a bit cooler day. Beautiful day. Once we got to the racetrack, the temperature dropped off, the clouds came out, and we're going to battle to the end here with Mother Nature. We're not giving up.
That's right. As we are still under caution here, I feel the precipitation lightening up, so it might have just been a quick cell going through. But as you mentioned, does race control maybe make that decision? Hey, let's get some of the bone stocks out there, some of the emergency crew vehicles out there that have those radial tires that can get dissipate the water away from the track and get the heat back in it. We'll have to wait and see here. We're still under some caution laps, as we're 17 laps remaining in feature number 1 of this late model division. So you think you still got the rest of this feature to run, plus you got the V8 stocks, then the bone stocks, and then another 35 lap feature for these late models. And also you're racing against the curfew, the time of day, as it gets later. Some, like the V8 stocks in these late models, get loud, as we do see the late models coming down a pit road. So we'll have to see exactly what the call is here as we wait and see. We're still under caution. Trevor, just kind of just go through maybe a day in the life of a racer on a Friday night, from preparing, getting your car on the trailer, getting to the track, and then trying to get home.
I think that depends on who you are, and that depends on who you are, where you are in your race season, how things are going. A perfect night for me, we've loaded up the car Thursday night. Friday is a regular day at work. I get off a little bit early, maybe 2 o'clock. I go home, have a little nap, probably because I've been working all week on the car trying to dial it in so it's fast enough to beat all those other guys that I'm out there chasing around the racetrack. And then we're here kind of waiting to get in the track at about 4 o'clock. The gates open at 5 o'clock. At that point, there's 50 trailers lined up trying to get in. Everything's a race. Even though you don't get a checkered flag or a trophy coming through the pits first, everyone wants to be here and prepared. You put so much time and so much effort into this hobby, into this passion of yours, that you want to get there to the track. You want to be there ready. You want to be on pit road first. You want to go through your setup plan for the night and how you can see things unfold, because you have to be able to react in the moment, but you also have to be able to predict and kind of create a bit of a strategy before the night comes. Next week, we are back on the racetrack with the Inventory Express Superstock Series, and I'm already thinking ahead a little bit because there's the ISMA Super Modifieds. That's a different car that runs here on a weekly basis. They've got different tires. That's different rubber that's going to be on the track. Before you're there, you've already got to have a bit of a game plan. You got to adjust as you get there, but a lot of it's the preparation. The teams that do well are those teams that are prepared, and as they say, practice makes perfect and hard work pays off.
That's right. As we see some of these cars, late models, are getting tarped up. We're in a brief rain delay, but we'll be right back with more Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, presented by Ray Collins Chevrolet.
Ray saves you money, and that's the key on Chevy, Buick, GMC. Ray Collins Chevrolet. You should drive by Ray today.
Hi.
The regulars, the guys who keep this place in business. Last week, they had something to celebrate. Jason had just finished university, so they toasted his profs, his TAs, his old roommates. Well, they toasted just about everyone. But I worry about and take care of my guys. So even when I know they're not driving, sometimes that means bringing them a little surprise. And then they had a drink to me.
Brought to you by Smart Serve Ontario and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
Welcome back. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet. Show your support for Delaware Speedway with the latest 2025 season merchandise. From classic hoodies and comfortable t-shirts to stylish hats, there's something for every race fan. Whether you're watching from the grandstands or following the action from home, you can shop online anytime at DelawareSpeedway.com. Order now and represent the excitement of Delaware Speedway in style. We are back. We're currently under that red flag condition on a rain delay. It is kind of lightening it up here. Obviously, we got Gary Adrianson in the pace car, veteran driver of this racetrack, so he knows kind of the ins and outs of what a wet track can do for these vehicles. And as we are in this red flag condition, we got to look at the pace car. So as we've mentioned before, just kind of if there's some new viewers joining us here, what's the purpose now, obviously, of these everyday kind of street cars out on the track going around running their laps?
Yeah, they're just doing the best they can to try and keep some heat in the track. As it's raining and as it's getting cooler with nothing on the track, it's going to continue to get wet. It's just like when you're driving down the highway. You see down the 401 or the 402 after it rains, when there's cars zipping up and down, back and forth, you see it start to dry off a little bit as there's more traffic, as there's more friction, as there's more air movement. So that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to keep some heat in the track so we don't lose it here tonight. It is just a light spit, but if it's a light spit or if it's a heavy rain, it doesn't matter. We can't race on a wet track.
That's right. Again, we've mentioned it's safety is first and foremost in any sport. I know officiating hockey, I'm out on the ice. If the ice is not in a favorable condition to play, we can't play. We're saying no, we're not going to play. So yeah, we see all the different machines out there trying to dry this track up, get the heat back into it. And obviously, Delaware Speedway does a great job, all their staff, to make sure that safety is first and foremost. As a racer here in the Superstocks, Trevor, just kind of talk about the superb crew that is here at Delaware Speedway week in and week out.
Yeah, no one works harder than this crew. There's an accident on the track before you're stopped in your car and start reacting, whether it's throwing your hands up in the air, maybe saying a couple words you shouldn't be saying, being a little bit excited. Before you're even ready to do that, the safety crew is there. They're at your window net, and they're asking you, are you okay? Is there anything you need? Are you okay? They care about your health and safety. They want to make sure, first and foremost, that the drivers in these race machines are safe and can keep continuing doing the thing we love. And there was an incident a couple years ago on the front stretch where one of the drivers went in cardiac arrest, and that crew was there helping right away. It's really a big deal what those guys do every week without that crew, cleaning up the cars, making sure we're okay, and working together. This thing doesn't happen. There's so many different moving pieces here at Delaware Speedway, and the safety crew is just a small piece of it, but we can't thank them enough for the amazing job that they do week in and week out.
That's right, and like I say, being an official of sports, both high level of slow pitch and hockey, you can't do the sport you love if you don't have those officials in that game day crew to make sure your field, your track, your rink is ready to go. It's superb, the quick reaction times this staff have. I've seen it in past years. They're so on it. As soon as that yellow light's on and that yellow flag is out, they're moving. They're always looking. They're always talking. They always got stuff going on. So as soon as there's an inkling of a potential caution, they're already ready to go in their vehicles to get out on the track to wherever the incident is. And But we still stay in red flag conditions. We're in a bit of a rain delay. We're going to go for another break, but we'll be back with more Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Cullen Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Steve McCaw from Ray Cullen Chevrolet. Welcome to the 2025 race season. From the Ray Cullen Chevrolet family, we are excited about another great year.
Bring the family to Pizza Hut's all-you-can-eat buffet. Fresh pizzas, pasta, and salads, something for everyone. Great taste, great time, all in one place. Pizza Hut, where family meals are unforgettable.
Everybody knows not to drink and drive, but some people still think it's okay to take drugs and drive. Police have the authority, the ability, and the tools to determine if drivers are impaired by legal or illegal drugs. And because drug-impaired drivers can pose just as great a risk as drunk drivers, they face the same penalties, like the loss of their driver's license, a criminal record, fines, and more. A message from the RCMP, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
Welcome back. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Cullen Chevrolet. Still in a red flag condition as we are under a weather delay. There's some light precipitation in the skies here at Delaware Speedway, and like we've mentioned, it's the safety of the drivers and everybody involved in this operation. So the race officials are still waiting. We're gonna go to some rain delay programming, but we'll be back as soon as the racing is back on the track here at Delaware Speedway.
The following is a Rogers Sports presentation.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to London Werewolves Baseball on Rogers Television. I'm Doc Palmer, along with Dave Langford, bringing you tonight's game between the London Werewolves and the Chillicothe Paints. The London Werewolves are the defending champions in the Frontier League, winning a record 53 games last season. They've already gotten off to a good start. They won 2 of their first 3 games down in Richmond, Indiana. They're playing the Chillicothe Paints, who also won 2 of their first 3 games. Starting on the mound for the London Werewolves is Brett Gray. Dave, what can you tell us about Brett?
Brett Gray is a very compact pitcher. He throws hard, but not as hard as he'd like, in other words, to move to a different level of baseball. Throws a good 88-mile-an-hour fastball and always around the plate. Throws lots of strikes, very few walks. A good pitcher. Last year, he pitched the opening game here, too. So he's from Wyoming, Ontario. Yes, he's a hometown boy. And he lost that game. They started 0-3 on the road last year, came home, lost their opener here, and then they did very well from that point on. So he'll be looking for a different start in London this year.
Describe Brett's performance in one word.
Mesmerizing.
Brilliant. Wow. Stamina.
Absolutely astounding. Absolutely astounding.
One word. I would say amazing.
Describe the performance in one word.
Awesome.
Probably not. I think there's too much that goes into it to even give one word to, that performance. I mean, I don't think that there's just no way to explain it in one word.
Brett Gray started his baseball life here in Wyoming, Ontario. It would lead him to the professional and international ranks of the sport. This is a story about a baseball player that had a record-breaking night. The story is simple. On the night of June 3rd in the year 2000 at Labatt Memorial Park in beautiful downtown London, Brett struck out 25 batters. Brett was pitching for London's entry in the professional independent league, the Frontier League. Commissioner of the Frontier League, Bill Lee, explains the history of the league and how the London Werewolves entered the league.
The Frontier League began in 1993. In 1994, they made the wonderful choice to finally hire a commissioner, and they chose me. So now to this day, they can't find anybody else dumb enough to take it. But in all actuality, the Frontier League was formed to bring professional baseball to areas of the country that could not get it due to Major League Baseball mileage limitations and things like that. And and it was formed basically to give players that are just coming out of college that don't get drafted, or players that have already been playing professional baseball and got released, give them a chance to play some more and hopefully get back into the Major League affiliates. Well, as time has gone on, and fast forward till today, the league began, like I said, in 1993. It's the oldest independent professional baseball league in the country. And we have sold over 1,000 guys to Major League organizations and have had almost 40 players advance to Major League Baseball. As time went on, in 1999, the Frontier League, the team from Kalamazoo, Michigan, transferred up to London, Ontario. John Kuhn and his father owned the club, and it became the London Werewolves. They were born in 1999.
Brett's 25 strikeout performance was one for the record books. To put this performance into perspective, each team only gets 27 outs in an entire game. The MLB record for most strikeouts by one pitcher in a single game is 20. Roger Clemens has struck out 20 on 2 occasions. Max Scherzer and Kerry Wood also reached the 20 strikeout mark in a single game. The MLB average per game is 8 batters struck out per 9 innings. Brett had struck out 8 batters and 2 in 2/3 of an inning, just under 3 innings. The greatest part about this night was there were so many interesting stories that occurred around the epic performance. So many interesting stories that allowed this epic performance to occur. These are those stories.
No, nothing felt any different. It was opening night in London. I'd stayed back from the opening road trip because I knew I had game 1. So nothing was any different. My wife, my wife to be, that year was living with me. She'd come back to London, and she was actually working in the beer garden that year. So it was actually gonna be the last year of my career. So I was excited to get things rolling. But no, nothing different than any other game. No, same routine. I'd always get there early. I'd get there a couple hours early, get my work in, whatever I had to do on the day as far as how my body felt. Felt pretty good at that point because it was game 1, but no, nothing different. The only thing we knew would be different that night was ring ceremony. So we were getting our rings from 99 from the previous year, so we knew that the pre-game would be a little different, but other than that, my routine was identical to the year before. It wasn't crazy. Like, it was, I guess you try to keep yourself calm in those situations. It was pretty awesome. Like, it was a packed house. I think whatever capacity was at Labatt, it was at that and overflowing. So, it was an amazing feeling. It was a neat vibe at the ballpark. And then when I went down to the pen, I went down as per normal, which was a mistake. I went down my normal half hour before the game because when I started throwing, I wanted to keep throwing and basically walk right on the mound. And then the ring ceremony dragged on and on and on. So game time was delayed. So I ended up throwing probably 90 pitches in the pen. So now my routine is screwed up. So coming out of the bullpen, my routine was off.
I was in the clubhouse. I don't remember because I didn't warm Brett up. Somebody else was warming Brett up before the game. But they had a huge ceremony that went on before. And so Brett did tell me, and this must have been years later, that he doesn't know how many pitches he actually threw that night, but it might have been over 300 because he said he warmed up and then warmed up and then warmed up again. He warmed up 3 times, he said.
I was feeling okay, but I was tired. I was already tired, and that's not a great feeling as a starting pitcher. So I think as I was explaining to you earlier, I was a typical prima donna pitcher. So I said to my manager that night, I said, listen, I'll give you 3 innings and that's it. This rig ceremony's got me so screwed up. I've thrown so many pitches already. I'll give you 3 and I'm done. And he kind of, took me as I was, pouty and miserable before the game, and so it was I was a little put off, but I felt fine. But even in the bullpen, nothing was different. My stuff wasn't any better. Nothing was different than any other game.
Well, Brett was with me in '98, and the story where we signed Brett, we weren't even going to sign him, but it was supposed to rain that night, and we didn't want to burn our one of our starters, so we figured we'd sign this kid out of Canada, throw him to the Wolves. It's going to rain, we don't burn a starter, and he went out and beat one of the best teams in the league. So, he was always a bulldog and a workhorse, and I was the pitching coach back then at that point too. So I've been in the bullpen with Brett when he's getting mentally prepared and being as miserable cuss as he always was on game days. But I figured he'd spent a good portion of his bullets down in the bullpen, just knowing Brett.
The relationship between a pitcher and a catcher is important to the outcome of the game. Trust is a big word between the two. The relationship between Brett and Tony was forged years earlier.
Well, there's no doubt. And Tony wasn't with us the year before we won the championship. We brought him in. Our catcher the year before was a Canadian from Guelph, Jamie Pogue. I'm sure you know him. He was our catcher the year before the championship. So, they only worked together, and that was opening night. We had spring training, but their relationship went back to Oklahoma City. I mean, they knew each other back then. I think they both coached there, maybe even played at Oklahoma City together. So they had a little relationship there. But even Tony will tell you, I don't know if you talked with him, man. There was 2 strikeouts that went to the wall that Brett struck out 4 in 2 different innings. So even though they're on the same page, Brett's stuff was a little magical that night, a little extra on the ball, and without a doubt, that their relationship, their personal relationship, the professional relationship, certainly attributed to the 25 strikeout performance we had that night.
Yeah, you mean after Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony was a year older than me. Graduated a year before me, or maybe even 2, I can't remember, but we GA'd together at Oklahoma after we both finished. Yeah, for sure. I mean, a pitcher-catcher relationship is huge, right? I mean, it takes so much stress off you when you're not shaking all the time, when you're on the same page with your catcher. So, Tony caught me the entire offseason, knew what was working, knew when it was working. Actually, that offseason, prior to that, I started throwing a cutter. And that night was the first night I ever threw it in a game. So, I guess it obviously worked. And Tony, I don't think I shook him the whole game. If I did, it wasn't very often.
There's a lot to be. I mean, they call it a battery for a reason, I think. And a battery has to have a positive charge and a negative charge. So you got to have a pitcher, you got to have a catcher to be a pitcher. You got to have a pitcher to be able to catch, so you have to work together and in unison, or the battery's not going to be charged, it's not going to work. So that terminology of the battery was not mistakenly put into the game of baseball. It hasn't always been there for just like by random chance. They call it a battery. There's a lot to it. I mean, Brett and I, we didn't live in the same apartment building, or we lived in the same apartment building, but not in the same room. So he was next door neighbors to me that whole year, fall and spring of school, and we were coaching together. I caught every single one of his bullpens leading into throughout all of our training. And we actually ran together and worked out together. So like a lot of times he'd be doing conditioning and I'd just go out and do it with him, and then we'd go coach practice and then, have a beer or whatever at night, or go to the golf course and hit the golf course for, whatever, for a day off or something. So we spent a lot of time together. And so, I mean, the story of that battery being able to be connected in that way, that's the reason why we were able to be, the pressure wasn't there. We were more prepared than probably, as far as a battery for one game scenario, we were probably more prepared than anybody's ever been in the history of the game. I mean, you're talking about coaching together, working out together, everything all year. And we're talking, that's 8 to 9 months. Most people don't even have 8 to 9 months to work out to prepare for their season, So, that to me tells the whole story of as being a teacher and a coach. Like when I look at it now, I'm like, that's the reason why it was that special. It was because of all that work that we put into it. And as you know, Brett's not going to take the easy way on anything. That's kind of his personality. I mean, he's a grinder. Honestly, we're both kind of that way. So, hard-nosed and grinders. And so the process of getting to that game was why it's such a memorable experience.
I don't think I did. I can't remember exactly, but no, there wasn't many shakes. It was just, I don't even think I shook at all. I think he'd just call it and I would go.
Never. He didn't shake me off one time. So that's why he crossed me up, because he told me, because we only got to talk, because I think we only got to talk like briefly about this game, because he like left the next morning, and that morning, like when they called him, the Reds called him, that was the only morning that we got to talk about the game. So he and I haven't really talked about it in 20 years. So what all he said was, dude, I don't know what was going on. He said, I'd be thinking change up and you'd put down change up. I'd be thinking curveball, you'd put down curveball. He was like, he said it was that close the whole time. So like when I went fastball in, he was thinking cutter probably, and he just grabbed cutter, and it looked like it was the same sign almost, and he just said, oh, in his balance point, and then he was like, here it goes. And then, so yeah, he didn't shake me off the whole game. The only time he shook me off was in the ninth when he called his dad out to the damn mound. I was like, what the hell's going on? They didn't finish this thing. So that was it.
Two innings featured a rare occurrence. 4 strikeouts in 1 inning.
Yeah, Tony had played the year before for Chillicothe or Richmond, I think. He was in the league, and if I recall correctly, he was a good player, and obviously losing Jamie Pogue, getting signed by the Cardinals, we're suddenly without an all-star catcher. We need one. I believe Gerard was an all-star catcher. Brett knew him from college, if memory serves. One of our job was when we sign players is always talk to their college coaches, see what kind of player they were. But yeah, knowing that Tony was a good quality catcher was great.
It didn't bug me at all. I mean, Tony was one of the best defensive catchers I ever played with. He was a machine. I think it got to the point, like the first one was, again, shadowy night, like shadows at the start of the game. Ball, I think it took a bad hop. I can't remember the one in the 7th that got away from him, but I had a really good cutter that night. And I think it was into a lefty and kind of got away from Tony. But I mean, like I said, he's defensively so good. So for him to miss it, no, it didn't bother me one bit.
The difficulty that we had was communicating what sign I was calling to him because we had, I don't know, pointer finger was fastball in, pinky finger was fastball out, 2 was a curveball. Trying to remember. 3 was his split finger, I think, and then wiggle for a change. But then he had a cutter too, and so I used one finger and made a circle with the one finger, and that was the 5th pitch or whatever. And so I got that, and he crossed me up twice in the game, but that's how he got 4 strikeouts. I called a fastball in, and he thought I called cutter because I moved my pointer finger towards the inside corner, and he thought I was circling it. And he said that when he explained it to me, he said that he grabbed cutter because he thought cutter whenever he saw me put the finger down. He grabbed cutter, and he saw me move in as he was going through his motion, and he was like, oh, here it goes. And then he just threw it, and it was like in the left-handed batter's box, and the guy swung through it. So I was on the inside corner, and that one went straight to the backstop, I think. And then the other one that we got 4 strikeouts in that, I think like the first or second, he threw a ball in the dirt, and I remember it was a curveball, and I think it was just a swing and miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. I block it, and I pick it up, and I throw the guy out by I don't even think it was close. It was a drop third strike, and I threw him out by 5 feet, and I thought that Brett was going to get thrown out of the game. I don't know. I think it's pretty funny. I think we struck out Metcalf, and Metcalf beat it out, and I think that story is pretty funny because I literally had to walk Brett back to the mound. So I ran down there. I ran down the line because Brett was like chasing Joe and yelling at him. And then I had to like walk him out to the mound and get him to calm down. I'm like, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Because he called him safe. And he was ready to lose his shit. And had he known that it was like, oh, I got another strikeout because of that, but
About ready to get yourself.
Yeah, you know what? I had forgotten that. It was an infield hit. Bang bang play at first, and he was probably safe by 2 steps, but that wouldn't stop me from, again, I would never argue a call if it wasn't game day, but on game day I was bad. Like I said, I was a prima donna, so yeah, I would argue with Joe, and Joe and I argued every game. But yeah, Tony probably saw what was going on and come grab me and got me out of there, which is, yeah, a blessing. I mean, because, yeah, the game would have never happened without that, obviously. So you know what? I'll give that one to Tony. He saved it.
Brett made only one noticeable mistake in the entire game.
Yeah, Cervenek. Yeah, and probably the wrong guy to throw a changeup to. I mean, but Cervenek was such a good hitter. He, yeah, it was hung. I remember the pitch. I watched it in the replay, and it was right down the. Yeah, he knew what to do with it. I definitely a mistake, and I probably threw. It was one of those nights that was so crazy and so unexplainable. I probably made 10 mistakes. They just missed them. It was just one of those nights where they didn't put the ball in play, and when I did miss in the middle of the plate, they fouled it straight back, kind of thing.
That was a shitty pitch. So Cervenek, he threw the right pitch. He threw a changeup, but Brett, like, we did discuss that pitch, and his changeup was moving so much. Like, you did ask me about his stuff. He didn't throw anything straight that whole night, so everything was moving. And then the changeup had been moving, and like it was basically just coming in and dying, and it looked like a fastball. Good spin on it, good rotation, and then just a tail and a dive. And then that one just, I don't know what happened, but on the release, it was like, he said, oh, shit. And I was like, oh, shit, because it was supposed to be down and on the outside corner. It was like basically at my left shoulder, like right in the middle of the dish. and it didn't move at all. So it was like he threw that one bad pitch and Cermak made him pay. So
I was good at giving them up, man. I could give up home runs with the best of them. I've given up a lot of big ones. And yeah, Serby was a great hitter. We battled against each other a couple years, and I think he went on to play in the big leagues, which is pretty awesome. So, no, I mean, I couldn't have gave it up to a better guy. Mike was a really good dude. Home run wise, yeah, but oh, big one. If you're gonna give him up, make the crowd happy, man. Yeah, I tell you, just a little off the topic of this story. I gave up one in Chattanooga, Tennessee, when I was in AA with Cincinnati, and there was the scoreboard in left field was probably, I don't know, 80, 90 feet high. It was massive, had a big clock tower. The train ran underneath it, and so on and so forth. And I gave up a home run in Chattanooga that they figure hit Interstate 75, I think, ran behind our park, but it cleared the clock tower. And the engineers, I could hear them after the game, or the front office guys talking after the game in the clubhouse saying, the engineers told us that was impossible, that nobody could ever hit one that far. So I think I owed the record for the farthest home run ever given up in Chattanooga.
While the drama played out on the field, with Gray striking out as many batters as he had, there were some issues off the field.
Well, the cool thing is, I told you, Wayne Earpshot, doing the Ks. I do remember the Ks with the popcorn boxes. He ran out of actual Ks to put up. And they had to use popcorn boxes or whatever anyone else had, to write the K on. Yeah.
Well, I think it was about the 17 mark. We had only made up so many. I had made them from scratch. I pasted black Ks on red cardboard, had them laminated. Had maybe 17 made up, thought, oh, that'll be plenty. Ended up, we ran out of Ks, and we were asking people to pass us popcorn boxes. They were tearing them apart. We borrowed somebody's pen. We were scratching K on the popcorn boxes and hanging them on the fence, and we were just trying to make whatever we could to use for Ks after that. No. Well, to tell you the truth, when John Cocoon came down out of the press box, and he came up to me and he calls me Irby. He goes, Irby, have you got the right count on those Ks? And I said, yeah, dude, they're right. This is what it is. So then started putting together that John had mentioned to me that he was closing in on possibly a record, which I didn't know, but it was until John Coon came down and notified me. And then, of course, it really got exciting in my area because everybody knew what was going on and could hear what John had said. And so everybody got right into it, and when we had to get the popcorn boxes out, we had the whole section searching for boxes and things and paper to write the Ks on. So, how many of you had? He says, are you keeping the right count? And I said, of course, guy, I'm keeping the right count. This is the K corner. And they were right, and everybody was very excited trying to keep track of them.
Just like any other baseball game in the history of time, the strike zone was a talking point. Of the 25 strikeouts that Brett had in the game, 17 of them, the batter swung for the third strike.
He didn't make many mistakes. I don't know if you want to broadcast it or not, but there was some corners being given on some of it. Like if you look at the video, I know that there was one pitch that I might have blocked the umpire. It may have been on my right shoulder or something, and I caught it like below my knee, and it was out of the zone, and he called it, and I was like, okay, and I just threw the ball back, and I think it was the third out of the inning. But yeah, there was some of that going on.
So the toughest question of the day. As an umpire, you're supposed to stay impartial. The game is the game. There were some indications from both sides of the fence that the strike zone might have gotten a little bit wider than it should have been at points in the game.
Are you saying?
Do you dispute that fact at all? Or?
Well, I've already ratted out Joe Sarator, so I might as well rat myself out. But back then, if a pitcher was in a groove and he was 2-3 inches off the plate and he was constantly there, and the batters were swinging at those pitches, and then he threw one there and they didn't swing at it, you could ring that up. And nobody, and you know what, I have to admit, I did not hear, looking back, I don't remember any player complaining about being called out on a pitch that was 2 or 3 inches off the plate. Because again, there was a lot of swinging third strikes that game as well. But so they were already swinging at them, indicating, yes, I can hit that pitch. It's in their mind, it's a strike. So yes, I was gonna give him those pitches. Now, if he'd been wild all over the place, then he comes down and he's 2 inches off the plate. No, pitcher's not going to get that. And they used to do that in the major leagues till they came up with the K zone and all that sort of stuff where the umpires are graded. After a ball game, the umpires, there's a sheet in the, they get it in the umpires room, and it's got all the pitches and it's marked, and they see the pitches that were outside the strike zone, or they see a ball that's been called in the strike zone, and that's how they're graded. That's how they get their playoff assignments, their World Series assignments, and that means money to those guys. So, but back then, the major league umpires used to do the same thing. Pitch was 2-3 inches outside, but if the pitcher was popping it there, hitting that spot all the time, they were getting those. And the batters understood that too. But that, of course, again, now that's all changed with the with all the technical stuff that they use to grade the pitches.
So I don't know what innings it was, but I know that you could talk. I mean, if you ever talk to Chillicothe guys, they'd tell you that they were, because they were bitching during the game that we were getting too much. As far as his stuff, he really only made the one bad pitch to Cervenek. But like, I mean, there were a bunch of them that were just swing and miss, strikeouts. So, I mean, how do you complain about the zone whenever you're swing and miss? But there were a couple of called strike threes that shouldn't have been called strike threes. But I mean, you're not talking about 5, you're talking about like probably 3.
So everybody says that. I actually, what do they call them? The Twitter trolls. Those people, they all want to say it was a hoax and 10 of the strikeouts, weren't deserved. But I think if I went back and watched 25, 22 of them are swinging. There's so many swinging strikeouts. I mean, look at Greg Maddux, right? And I'm certainly not comparing myself to Greg Maddux, but look at, when he was on, he was getting 6 inches, right? That was the way the game was. I'd had Jim probably umpired me, man, I wouldn't even know how many times he had the plate when I pitched. And I would say the strike zone that night was identical to any other night. The only one I remember, he called one on and it was out a little bit, maybe a ball or two, maybe a little more, and he rung a guy for like maybe the 21st punch. And somebody asked me that, well, do you think the zone got a bit bigger in the end? I said, I think, yeah, maybe in the last inning or two, but how don't you get caught up in that? I don't care how professional you are, you get caught up in those moments and it's a whirlwind and you're part of it and you're right in the middle of it. So, to be honest, I don't think the zone was any different than Jim's zone any other night. I always got along with Jim. We always, there was some arguments when I thought he missed one or, he gave me one here and there, but no, it was a good zone. And like I said, I'm sure the Paints all thought it was too big, but, again, when you got 22 swinging strikeouts, I don't think that's the strike zone.
When the game ends, and something as incredible as 25 strikeouts has occurred, it's time to get word out about the record.
Well, what happened was after the game, Jason Rosen, our official scorer, and I are sitting in the office, and I'm like, wow. Jason always put together the press release, and he had the official game stats. So Jason's main job was to send the stats out to the different media in the town that we played in, then our town. And then we're sitting there going, well, this is huge. We got to get this thing out there. So we literally went to the back of the Baseball America directory. And at that point, they listed like all the different media sources around the country. And they had mostly their fax numbers. So Jason Rosen, when you talk to him, I don't know how long we sat there and faxing stuff for, hour, 2 hours. literally just faxes up. AP New York, AP San Francisco, AP Chicago, you know, Canadian Press, et cetera, et cetera. We just sitting there and just jammed them out to everybody. And then it finally caught somebody, and I forget who the first person was that called Brett to do an interview, but it wasn't from my memory, it wasn't a state where it was any that had any impact with us. It was just one of those things that they called, hey, is this story true? So.
Yeah, I remember sitting in I don't know if you remember the trailer that the actual office was in, but it was just in a couple of trailers out in the parking lot. Not even in the parking lot, just behind the first base grandstand. And I just remember after the game, like, John and I grabbed, I don't even know what we grabbed. I feel it was like the Baseball America, you know, directory, and just started faxing everyone we thought might want to hear about this, from, you know, Baseball America to, I definitely remember doing Baseball America, and I think they picked it up, the story, pretty quickly. You know, all of the league people, of course, but like Baseball America, I don't know if we went to ESPN or not, but some of the baseball publications, I just remember faxing it. I don't even remember how many places, to be honest, but I just remember John was, John is the most energetic man I've probably ever met in my life, and is amazing. And we were just going. We were just, okay, what else? Where else can we send it to? And we did that for, I don't know, at least an hour or more after the game, just, you know, faxing the score sheet along with the little release that John had written, just to kind of show everybody, you know, what had happened and get the word out there. You know, obviously a little different time and using the fax machine instead of sending an email out to the media outlets or whatever. But yeah, I definitely remember the energy in that trailer after, about just trying to get the word out everywhere that this happened and how cool it was, and it just felt like a moment that we were just wrapped up in, and trying to get the word out and try and spread the news about this 25 strikeout game, which was pretty awesome. So yeah.
By the end of the 8th, Brett Gray had struck out 24 batters, but Gray had something else on his mind.
But to be honest with you, when I came in from the end of the 8th, or at the end of the 8th, the last thing on my mind was how many more guys I'd strike out. There was something bigger on my mind at that point. The 8th is over. I come in. We're at 24 strikeouts. I'm exhausted, and just done. Like, I know I'm beat. So I walk over to Andy, my manager, Andy McCauley, and I said, Andy, did you talk to my dad? And Andy goes, dude, I'm not talking to him. Like, this wasn't supposed to happen. I think nobody could see this coming. So the backstory was, and my wife knew about it, was I was going to ask my dad to be my best man that night for my wedding in September, that coming September, no matter what happened. Whether I got pulled in the first inning, whether I got, made it through 5, didn't matter. I told Andy I want my dad to come to the mound when it's time to pull me, because I want to ask him on a mound. It'd be fitting. It just works. It's just perfect, right? So my wife, the whole game, people are running down and telling her in the beer garden, like, you got to come up and see this. She's like, no, I got to sell beer. And she just kept asking, has his dad been to the mound yet? And people are going, why would he be to the mound? Like, why would he go to the mound? So anyway, I tell Andy at the end of the 8th, I said, he's got to come out. Don't let me down here, man. He's got to come out. So Andy's, balking at it. So anyway, our bottom half ends. I'm going out for the top of the 9th, and I'm going up the top step, and thank God the crowd was loud, because I'm turned back screaming at Andy, you better send him. Yeah, Andy and I have talked about it. So Andy goes and tells Bruce, my dad, that, hey, you got to go to the mound. And my dad's like, I'm not going to the mound. Are you kidding me? I said, I'm not going to go embarrass these guys. Like, that's stupid. What are you talking about? Andy said, so finally, Andy had to yell at him. My dad comes out reluctantly, and he actually stops at third to talk to Jamie, the third base coach for Chillicothe, and says, listen, man, I don't know what's going on here. I'm so sorry. And Jamie's like, yeah, don't worry about it. So we come to the mound. I asked him. We both had tears. And actually, I think that was with 2 outs in the 9th. And then the next guy, I think, popped up on the first pitch. And I was never so happy. I think I was pitching. There's tears flying out of my eyes. And it was a really cool moment. And I mean, for it to happen, again, regardless of how that night had gone, had I got pulled, hammered in the first and yanked, I was doing the same thing. So for it to happen on a night that special was, I mean, incredible.
He said that early in the game. It's one of those things went in my ear and out the other right before a game, before you start, opening night, you got a million things on your mind. But when he came to me later in the game and said it again in the eighth inning, when he came off in the eighth and sent his dad out in the ninth after he gets an out. Yeah, I mean, luckily I wasn't the pitching coach, but luckily I could delegate. And if you have to delegate to anyone, Bruce is the guy to send out there. But, I was shocked by it. I really, didn't know what was in his mind. I don't know what he was thinking. Bruce, was with me the year before with the championship, and I knew him quite well. But the look Bruce gave me was scary enough, let alone I was kind of in a bad spot. I'm either going to get, lit up by Brett or lit up by Bruce right here. And the way Brett was throwing, I chose the latter. I chose, I'd rather have Bruce mad at me than Brett, who's throwing a great game. So, yeah, and Bruce didn't want to go out, but, I made it pretty evident that he had to go. And he was not happy about making that trip, that's for sure.
Never forget in the ninth inning when Brett Gray, the pitching coach, or Bruce Gray, the pitching coach, Brett's father, comes out of the dugout, and he's heading toward the mound, and it's like, what is going on here? Like, kids got 24 or 25 strikeouts at that point. I'm not sure if he had the 25 at that point, and the crowd was booing like that. It was crazy. Like,
but Bruce made it very clear to me numerous times in that quick conversation after the first out was made that he did not want to make the trip to the mound. And yes, I did force Bruce, you're going out there because I'm not, and you need to make a trip right now. And I didn't want to let I didn't know what Brett was up to. I had no idea what he wanted. I just know Brett wanted him to make the trip, and I wasn't getting in the middle of that. So, Brett wanted it done. I made Bruce make that trip, and he did not want to make that trip. As he's heading out to the mound, he's getting booed. People are throwing beer cans on the field. I mean, the fans didn't want him making the trip either. The only one making the trip was Brett, and nobody knew what it was about. But really a moment, not just baseball, but father and son. I have a 2-year-old boy myself, and boy, as a father, I don't think you could ever, ask for anything more than that special moment right there. But Brett, believe me, Bruce did not want to make the trip. And I'll be honest with you, Bruce was a scary man. He's not someone you want to mess with either. His time in pro baseball and his experience in hockey, and just a rough guy. But I didn't want to get on the wrong side of either one of those guys, but I had to choose one.
Well, Andy and I argued from about the 5th inning on about that, and then he finally ordered me to go to the mound. So I didn't know I was going, and the fans sure didn't like me going out there. They were throwing hot dogs and beer cans at me. They were afraid I was going to pull them.
I'm heading out to the mound to say, okay, let's hurry things up. And so there's Bruce standing there on the mound laughing. And so I go up and say, what the heck is going on here? And they tell me the story. I went, oh my God, that was so neat. That was so neat.
And then when it really sunk in was the next day. So the next day, wake up and kind of tease my wife, and I said, her wife to be my fiance, and I said, hey, how's it feel to wake up with the strikeout king? And she just said, dude, that you haven't, it wouldn't have mattered if you guys struck out 1 or 25. This is cool. And so we kind of had fun with it. We didn't know where it was going. We had no idea, because we had always, or she had said to me she didn't want to get married until my career was over. So I promised her that 2000 was my last season. So, again, we had some fun with it, joked around about it, and then all of a sudden the calls started coming from, I think it was Cincinnati, New York, the Mets, and Houston maybe. And so Cooner called me back in that day, and when I signed, he said, well, who do you want to sign with? And I said, well, who called first? And it was Cincinnati. So that's how that all ended up. So, and then long story short, we still did get married in 2000, but I played another 5 years past that. So.
It's been 21 years since Gray's epic 25 strikeout night. The memories flood back, and the emotions of the night still flow as if they are still happening when the game is brought up.
Well, I will say this. Since I've taken over the Frontier League, and as of right now, this will be my 27th year, and I've probably seen close to 2,000 games in the Frontier League in that amount of time. In 2014, we began the Frontier League Hall of Fame. And for those people that want to see, they could go to the Frontier League website, see the Frontier League Hall of Fame. And each year we do a significant moment in Frontier League history. When we started our Hall of Fame, we picked the very first most significant moment we picked in 2014 was the Brett Gray 25 strikeout game. And Brett came to our team in Gateway, and we had an induction ceremony, and Brett gave it. It was a great speech that he did. For me personally, sitting there that night, while it was going on, I knew that things were happening, but I didn't realize what would happen, obviously, by the end of the night, and what it would mean to me in the future. And what it means to me now as I look back on it, it's the most memorable game I ever saw in the Frontier League, and probably one of the most memorable games. I'm 66, going to be 67 years old. My dad was a major league player, but a college baseball coach. I started bat boying for his teams when I was 3 years old. I've never seen anything like it, and I may never again. But I was there that night and got to see it, and I'll tell you, it was something special. But then the other stories around it made it even more special after I heard about them.
It was a remarkable performance by someone who was in a groove. I feel like, if I remember correctly, Brett was going pretty good leading up to this game, and it just this was obviously the ultimate performance by him. But like he was on fire to start that point of the season, and this was just one of those nights that it was historic. It was a great moment to be a part of, and it was pretty cool.
I went up there with all the OCU guys, and it was a great experience. And we had my wife and I got married 1 year to the date from the day of the game. So we didn't pick that date based on that game by any means. But, I kind of hung them up. And then, I was able to say, hey, man, I'm probably not going to make it to the big leagues, at this point. And getting married. So that was kind of the decision or the thing. But as I look back, it's one of my fondest memories was that summer. All those kids from OCU, and I think I keep in touch with those guys more than my college guys. There's a couple of college guys that I live out here in Vegas, and I keep in touch with some of those guys that are on that 2000 team more so than I do those other guys, So I don't know. I was a veteran at that time. Brett was kind of a veteran too. Brett's a couple years younger than me, but we came in there very highly respected by our players, by our coaches, and it was like, all right, I'm done. I've had enough, and I've pursued it all, And so when I look back, it is a highlighted memory, that's for sure. So
without a doubt, the single most amazing individual achievement I've seen on a baseball field. It was just, it was surreal watching it transpire. It was almost scripted because it was laughable how it was going down. And not just how it's going down, but who we were playing. We were playing one of the best teams in the league from the year before. We faced them in the championship, and a lot of the same players. So, there's a lot that goes into that story and that night, but just the fact itself of that, the only 5 strikeouts, was a single individual feat I've witnessed on a baseball field.
Oh, man, absolutely. It was. The things that, to have that night happen, and then to have it happen with the story about my dad, and then to have it happen 45 minutes from where I live, after I've played my entire college career down south and never been around, no one's ever seen me play pro, it was incredible. So many friends and family were there that night. It's mind-blowing really how that all lined up and happened.
Welcome back here. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Cullen Chevrolet. Race control saying that they're going to try and get the bone stocks out for their feature race of 25 laps. From what I can tell, the rain has stopped here a bit, and so they're going to try and get the bone stocks out and try and get back to green flag racing here at Delaware Speedway.
Yeah, so typically between races there's an intermission. We'll call that one a little bit bigger intermission tonight. Mother Nature dictated the length of that intermission. The rain's done. You look at the radar, the rain is done. You can feel the wind, the air movement right now, which is going to help dry the racetrack. There's been some safety crew out there on the racetrack. Gary Adrianson, veteran race car driver who's won in everything he's drove here. He's out in the pace car trying to dry the racetrack and do his part. Everyone putting their best foot forward to get some racing in here tonight.
That's right. We will go to break, but hopefully on the other side we'll be back to racing here at Delaware Speedway. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Cullen Chevrolet.
Blow out all candles before you leave the room or go to bed.
Never leave a burning candle unattended.
When you go out, don't forget to blow out.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mario Elia, host of Keeping London Healthy here on Rogers TV. Join us Wednesdays at 6:30 where we discuss health topics relevant to you and bringing on experts in the field to give you the best, most up-to-date information. See you then.
This year, 2 groups of veterans and 2 teams of rookies compete to renovate 4 identical houses with their own signature style.
In the ultimate neighborhood knockout, we're gonna keep things fresh.
Get down and dirty.
And bury the competition.
Rock the Buck on HGTV.
Welcome back. Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, presented by Ray Cullen. Friday nights at Delaware Speedway are packed with excitement. Honor the heroes of First Responders Night, June 13th. Celebrate a racing legend at the Earl Ross Memorial Late Model Race, June 20th. And meet your favorite drivers during multiple autographed nights. Feel the adrenaline with the King of the Hill spectator races. And don't miss a moment. Get your tickets at DelawareSpeedway.com. We are back, still under that red flag condition, trying to get onto the other side of what was a lengthy rain delay. But race officials say that hopefully once the bone stocks can get lined up on pit road in about, they're hoping 5-10 minutes, we'll get back to some green flag racing. Trevor, let's talk about what this type of delay does for the drivers. They start the night raring to go. They're ready to keep that pedal down to the floor. And now they got to sit for X amount of time. How do you get back into that mindset of, okay, now I got to get back in my race car and try and win a race here?
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a challenge to it. Obviously, some people are better at dealing with those challenges than others. Myself, I feel like I'm pretty good at always keeping myself on my toes and ready to go whenever it has to be. Then there's some other people. My brother, for example, he's driving the 78 Sad Nuggy Bone Stock. You'll see him flying around the track here later. He's a guy that does not like sitting still. He does not like waiting. He's probably very
antsy.
Yeah, antsy. Not too thrilled right now about how long he's been waiting. But once you get out on the track, those nerves totally go away, and that's something that you'll have throughout all of your racing. You're going to have a little bit of nerves as you're waiting and waiting. Once you get out on the track, you're locked in, and you don't feel anything other than what the car's doing and that feeling of, I want to win, I want to get to the front.
Yeah, right. We're getting word there that the rain delay was in that about 45-minute range. So quite a long time in the grand scheme of things. I know for me that especially if there's a delay in officiating and you go to speak about nerves, nerves are something that are good to a point, because I feel like if you don't have that nervous energy or I think it's adrenaline that keeps those nerves pumping, it might be time for you to hang it up or step back from it. So I'm always a big fan and big proponent of having that little bit of nervous energy in your body as you're starting to do whatever event it may be, racing a car, for me, officiating sports or what have you. So it's going to be great. We see the Bone Stocks here getting ready on pit road. They're going to get lined up and in position, and I think we're going to get a little bit of racing here to end out the night.
Yeah, so with Mother Nature acting up as she did, they're going to throw a little bit of a wrench into the night and how it's going to unfold. First, you're going to see the bone stocks, the lift toe bone stocks up first. They're going to do their 25-lap feature. After that, the late models are going to jump back on the track. Or sorry, I think it's the V8s. No, that's wrong. The late models are going to jump back on the track, finish their first feature. The V8s are going to hop back on the track, do their first and only feature, and then we're going to end off the night with the camping experience late models. They're going to cap off the night, make lots of noise, hopefully not upset too many neighbors.
Right, and that's always the thing that Delaware Speedway officials have to deal with. You have some sort of delay. This particular delay is Mother Nature. The weather wasn't cooperating. So yeah, it's that curfew type of thing you got to deal with. But nonetheless, like we've said from the start of this, the crew here, from race officials to safety crew, do a great job at making sure that everything's done to code, I guess, done well. So it's something that they'll deal with if anything happens. But obviously, the fans that are here that have paid gate want to get their money's worth. I'm sure they would help the fans out if they had to eventually cancel the night or whatever. But nonetheless, getting back to racing is what, like you said, the drivers want, the fans want, and ultimately, I'm enjoying calling the racing here tonight. So let's try and finish out the night and call some great racing.
Yeah, I think we could do that. I think they're going to get these bone stocks back on the racetrack. As they've been trying it, you can see the color of the pavement changing. It's getting a little bit lighter, and I think it's going to make for some really good racing. The temperature has changed drastically. It is very cool up here. My wife, being the great wife she is, asked me, "Oh, do you think you need a jacket before you go?" No, I'm fine. Again, wife's always right. Pretty cold up here, and pretty cold up here means the track's going to be a lot different than it was today. There's a little bit of sun, mainly overcast, but a little bit of heat in the track with the sun, the shadows on the track. Now it's going to be a bit different for those drivers. They're going to have to adjust as it's gotten that much cooler. There's going to be more grip because of the temperature, but there's not as much grip right now because some of that rubber might have washed off. The only saving grace there is it was always kind of just a spit and a drizzle. There wasn't any rain that was hard enough that you think would really push the rubber off. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when we get going green here shortly.
That's right. As we get a picture of the Bone Stocks lining up for their feature race, we're going to step aside. We'll be back with more Delaware Speedway racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Cullen Chevrolet.
In The Paint Box, host Jane Roy puts a spotlight on various aspects of the vibrant visual art community in the City of London. The Paint Box, Mondays at 5:30 p.m.
Hi everyone, my name's Emily Febri. I'm also known as Ranger M. I'm an environmental communicator and educator, and I get to talk to a lot of different people about all things nature and conservation. I love to knowledge share, and that's what I want to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M.
For 25 years, you've been helping to make our roads safer by doing the right thing. You've been the designated driver, you've stayed over, called home, you've called a cab or a friend, and planned ahead. Let's keep doing the right thing. Support sober driving by getting yourself and your friends home safely.
Do the right thing.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Welcome back. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, presented by Ray College Chevrolet. Getting a shot of pit road as the Bone Stocks are lining up to start their feature race after what was a 45-minute or so rain delay here at Delaware Speedway. We talked about it. Every racer is different. How their mindset is during a delay like this. It's how do you... Here we go. The yellow lights are flashing. That means cars can get rolling here at Delaware Speedway. So we will get to see some racing yet before the night is finished. It's good to see. And we talked about how the staff here, the race officials and everything, do such a great job. You look at what is the best option for the track to dry, and that is getting these bone stocks out, because they're running a radial tire like you would run, like you said, down the 401, 402 or on any city street. So therefore, they have that traction and that grip, even if it's still a little bit wet on the track right now. So they got to run 25 laps of a feature. So that's going to help the track dry a little bit more. The heat of their tires getting on the track and dispersing everything like that. So then, as you go out the rest of the night to finish off your V8 stocks and your late models, the track, in theory, should be okay.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And again, this is the best class to get out there for multiple reasons. You've got the most cars out there, which means the most tires on the track, which means the most air movement and friction on the track. And those tires, again, are those radial tires that they can take a little bit of dampness and not be that much affected, where a late model sees a little bit too much rain and you've got a very expensive piece of race equipment that could get wrecked and damaged, and nobody wants that. And as you said, the track, they think about every one of these scenarios. They think about, okay, we have to think about the fans, we have to think about the drivers, we have to think about the race cars and the race teams. These drivers and these teams and these sponsors do their best to put their money in their cars and make it last for the year. They don't want to wreck their cars because Delaware Speedway said, hey, let's go racing here, and it wrecks everyone's cars. That's not productive to anyone. So there's a lot of different things that Delaware Speedway has to think about when they make a decision like this. I can tell you, first off, I would not want to be the guy who's sitting in Luke Ramsey or Sean Gibbs' position who has to make that call. Ultimately, it's a dry track now. We are getting the white flag from our flag man, and they made the right call. We're going to go racing, and we're going to have some fun here.
That's right. We're going to go one lap around. The lights are off. The pace car here at Delaware Speedway. 25 laps the distance for the Bone Stock feature race. Looking at the field, it's going to be the 97D of David Rockwood, who looks like he's choosing the outside to start, which I've seen some drivers do now that the pavement was upgraded a little bit. There's more maybe some grip out there on the outside, because that might be the case. But we're going to get green flag racing as Rockwood and Roberts are going to be the top, the front pairing. Sterling Roberts looks like he got a bit of a better jump. We're going to see if the race officials like that one as we go around out of two down the back. It is Sterling Roberts leading the charge.
Sterling Roberts looked very competitive in that heat race earlier on this evening. So with a good lead out front, the strategy for that machine is just run good, clean laps and hope for no cautions. Get out front. Yellow.
As you mentioned the word caution, we are under a yellow trying to figure out, oh, it's in turn 1 there. We got a couple cars around. The 8 took a little bit of damage to the front hood there. And we are under a caution 1 lap into this feature race. We got to look at a replay here. Trevor, take us through it.
Yeah, if you look in the top right, you can see the 51 car get spun around sideways, contact with, I believe it was the 52 of Donovan Clark, and then the 8 had nowhere to go and kind of piled through there after. The 52 Donovan Clark, the 8 of Charlie Verhoeven, those are 2 drivers that are up near the top of the standings now. So that's not what they want to do. They don't want to have damage to their car. They don't want to get sent to the back. You got to get through traffic, as I said earlier, as cautiously aggressive as you possibly can. Very much easier said than done, but with this many cars on the track, it also makes it that much tougher.
That's right. I was going to make that point, Trevor. Like you said, this is the class that has the most cars on the track any given Friday when they're here. So you definitely got to pick your spots a little bit more careful, as we still get a shot of the 8 there. The hood is bent a bit. I don't think that's going to be enough to take him off the track. His night will continue. We'll just see how everything is placed back up once we get rolling here. The 15 of Sterling Roberts was the leader there. They say that it was not a complete lap. We're back up to 25 on the scoreboard, so we're going to have to see exactly how they restack and rack them here. Yeah,
typically when they don't get a complete lap in, they do a complete restart. They get everyone back in their starting positions where they originally started the race, and from there they get going again. We look on the screen here and we see the 52 get sent to the back. I do believe he was involved in that incident, but I'm not sure how the ruling goes on that, because he was in the incident even though it was a complete restart. They sent him to the back. I'm not sure. That's what we're seeing here right now.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing as we're still under caution here. We're going to get another look here at the incident causing this caution. Trevor, again, take us through it.
Yeah, so at the top of the screen, you can see that 51. It's hard to tell. To me, it looked like the 51 was maybe trying to come down and the 52 came up. I can't see the bottom of the screen, the bottom left corner of that 52 car. Potentially he got tagged and it shot him up the track into the 51. Either way, hopefully those cars can get back out there on the track with minimal damage and still have a good, clean 25 lap feature here once we get rolling again.
Yeah, that's what we are hoping for. It's still under yellow here, and it's, again, you'd think race control, they're obviously trying to get the lineup back proper to where it needs to be. You got to make sure everybody is in their proper position. Again, a 45-minute rain delay, so I'm sure race control is wanting to get this a little bit quicker, everybody back into position, but you got a lot of cars on the track that you got to maneuver around and let get settled in here, as the yellow flag still in the holder of the flag stand. The flag man down there is still not getting it up in his hand, so it doesn't look like we're going to go white yet. We're going to continue under the caution laps, as again, every car needs to be put right back into the proper position.
Yeah, as you're saying that, I could see a couple of these cars working their way through the field. They're obviously getting some instruction from up in the race director's booth. He's telling them, get back in your spot, and it'll be as simple as saying, number 13, fall in line behind the number 25 car. He'll give you a lap to do that. If you don't want to move, you don't want to fall in line, you want to stay at the back, he's going to say, okay, I got a program to get on the show here. We've got some great race fans who stuck around the track, and we've got some great race fans who've been watching this broadcast, so we got to put on a good show for.
That's right, exactly. It's sure. You got to make the move when we tell you. So make the move, or you're going to stay where you are, and other people are going to gain positioning on the track here, as we get still yellow flag conditions after an incident going into turn 1. As it's still another delay. This time a car caused delay, but a delay nonetheless.
Yeah, it looks like a lot a lot of the cars have found their position. I can only see 2 or 3 jockeying through the field yet. So hopeful maybe the next time by we see a white flag and they start doubling them up and we get back to racing here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it looks like some of the I guess mid to back of the field trying to get themselves in position there, ready to go here as we hear Jamie Mosley in the tower saying a lot of cars to get lined up here, that is for sure. Still cars moving around trying to get into that proper position. And that's the thing, you're a car getting told where to go, you still got to try and maneuver. It's like, okay, I'm getting told to go to this position. Okay, how many more cars do I have to pass? There's some math involved, and you got to try and make that happen pretty quickly here.
Yeah, that's right. It's a lot of make the decision on the fly and go with it as it comes to you. As we look on the screen here, a bit further back in the pack, you see 2 very fast race cars. So that's the 17 of Colin Wilms, points leader coming into the night. And then behind him, a driver that can drive anything. His name is Joe Lawrence. That family is got some strong racing roots here at Delaware Speedway, and I have a very good feeling you're going to see that 17 and 28 car work their way through the field and towards the front of the pack here before the checkered flag flies. That's right. It looks like we're getting doubled up here. And quick, before we go, we're going to go downstairs to Jeremy. Oh, sorry. Getting told in my ear, we can officially announce the London Knights are going to the Memorial Cup final on Sunday against Medicine Hat. They beat the Moncton Wildcats 5-2. It was tough to not talk about it during the broadcast. I was strictly told by our producer, Chris Burkholz, great guy, that we're going to wait till the end. I've had it on, making sure in between cautions and a little bit of time in between, keep an eye on it, and we can officially say London is going to the Memorial Cup final for the 2nd consecutive year. And yeah, it's going to be a great game Sunday between London and Medicine Hat. We get the white flag in the air. We're going to go one more lap under caution. The lights will come off the pace car. We are doubled up here in the field, and we're going to restart the 25-lap feature here of the Bone Stocks. And maybe with that great news of the London Knights moving on to the Memorial Cup final, maybe it's only fitting that next time we see those race cars come around turn 3 and 4, we're going to see a green flag. That's not just for the London Knights, but that's to get back racing here. So hats off to the London Knights and their success. And let's wave the green flag for 2 things, London Knights and the thing we're all here watching and love, and that's green flag side by each racing as we watch the leader come off turn 4. That's right. That leader is going to be I believe the 15 of Sterling Roberts. That's going to be the pace car, set the pace, and they're side by each, and that's the 16 of Dakota Luoma, as that's a great start. We're green flag racing, 25 laps the distance as we come out of turn 1 into turn 2 down the back. It's Sterling Roberts getting the lead, Dakota Luoma in second. In third, it's Jack Dixon in the 48. Everybody behind the top 3 bunched up about side by side as we come. Will we get across the line? We will. 1 lap complete here in the Bone Stock feature race at Delaware Speedway. 1 lap in the books, 24 more laps around this half-mile circuit. We've got a good battle here for 3rd place. That shows the 48 of Jack Dixon and another young driver, the 6 of Will Quarry, sophomore season for the number 6 machine, and he's showing some strength and muscle tonight. That's right, and you see the 26 on the outside, Nathan Rhea. He's trying to gain a spot, and now here we go. It's going to be Sterling Roberts definitely strengthening and widening his lead as we get a look still at the 6 of Will Quarry and the 26 of Nathan Rhea. They're doing a battle. That is for the 4th and 5th spot, rather. And as you watch this race unfold, you're going to see those cars that started further back in the field making their way to the front. On your screen now, Sterling Roberts in the top left. Bottom right, that's the 17 of Colin Wilms and Joe Lawrence. They're making their way through the field. Joe Lawrence making another move on that 17 car. Yeah, Joe Lawrence, what a racer.
like you said, he can hop into anything and make it go fast. Yeah, it's an absolute masterpiece to watch these racers out on the track maneuver this machine like it's going through butter. It's a hot knife going through butter. As we see the double screen still, it's the 15 of Sterling Roberts distancing himself with the lead across the line. It's going to be 20 to go. We're 5 laps down, 20 to go. Trevor, it's been a heck of a race so far.
It's been a heck of a race, and I can only see that continuing. The leader, Sterling Roberts, earlier on lap 2, he ran his fastest lap of the race, and not just his fastest lap of the race. I've been paying attention, his fastest lap of the night. That's going to continue to happen as more rubber gets back down on the racetrack and as it gets cooler. We talked about it earlier. Cooler, more grip, a little more breathing power for these motors to make some good horsepower, and they're running some fast laps here.
That's right, as we get a look at the leaders with the 15 machine of Roberts and then the 16 of Luoma. They have distanced themselves, but the lead here is pretty wide. We get a look here at the middle of the pack, and it's just absolutely jam-packed here. 3 cars, it's the 40, the 28, and the 17 all trying to make a move.
Kind of as we predicted earlier in this broadcast, I thought the 28 of Joe Lawrence and the 17 would be 2 of those strong cars that are working their way through the field, and you see them doing exactly that. Starting in the 11th and 12th position, they've worked their way up to 4th and 6th. Watch those 2 cars work their way through the field and try and track down that 15 of Sterling Roberts as we have 17 to go here.
That's right. These cars are absolutely flying around this track, as there's going to be some lap traffic going to be coming up with so many cars on the track that the leaders might have to maneuver themselves through as the race winds down.
That's right. One thing is get through traffic that you're battling for position, but then you throw in lap cars, and that's a whole nother challenge that you have to make the right move around those lap cars while also trying to make a move around the cars you're battling for position. It can make for quite entertaining moves and different ways to maybe gain some track position and even gain some positions depending on how you work the traffic.
That's right, as we're in the double screen here, top left, it's Sterling Roberts and the 15 machine working through that lap traffic, and it's also the other racers that are that lap traffic to give them the preferred lane. You're a little slower, you're don't want to hold up the lead car, so they're doing a good job out there. Sterling Roberts doing a great job maneuvering through it. As we bottom right of the screen, we still got the 40 and of Jason Craig and the 17 of Colin Willems battling for that 4th and 5th spot. Man, this is, again, I can't say it enough. Great racing from the Bone Stock division so far in this feature. That's 13 to go.
13 to go, and you see Sterling Roberts still setting sail out front. But who's in second place? Hello, Joe Lawrence. P2 to the number 28 of Joe Lawrence, and he's got his target set on that 15 of Sterling Roberts in front of him.
Yeah, Joe Lawrence coming to the stripe. He will officially take over that second spot. And man, his car has been on rails this race. As you mentioned, he had to start further back in the pack, but that doesn't matter where he starts. It's going to be where he finishes. There's the gap we see, as it looks like he's closing it pretty well. We'll see if he can, in the last 11 laps, fully close that gap and potentially make a pass on that Roberts machine.
That lap, he gained 0.5 of a second. He gained half a second maneuvering traffic a little bit better than that 15 machine of Sterling Roberts in front of him, and that's going to be crucial. One thing is run a good clean lap when you're on your own. It's a total another thing to get through traffic. It's all about where you hit them, and with these bolt stocks, it's all about keeping your momentum up. I raced these once last year. I did terrible. My brother is racing here, and he's talked to me all about keeping the momentum up. These things don't have the horsepower, so it's making those moves, keeping the momentum up, and not losing that run you have. As we see Joe Lawrence gain another 0.2 that time by, you can visibly see the gap closing.
Yeah, that's right. So Joe Lawrence absolutely making quick work of the field and now he's about, 2.5? Now even closer to the leader of Roberts as they come out of 4 down the front stretch past the line. We got 8 to go. Anything is going to happen here in the last 8 laps.
It's one thing to catch him, and it's another thing to pass him. Sterling Roberts, to the best of my knowledge, has yet to win a feature race, or if it's happened, it was a couple years ago. Sterling is hungry for this win, and they're going to do everything they can to keep that 28 machine behind them.
Yeah, that's right. But it's going to be a task to keep Joe Lawrence in your rear view mirror as we go. He's right on the decklet as Roberts is high. Lawrence is going to try and go for the pass on the low side, but then determines, hey, it's not my time to make a pass. I'll get single file. But now as they come out of 4, it's going to be Lawrence down low, but Roberts, good corner exit, and still maintaining that lead as they cross the stripe.
Again, we've talked about it, momentum, the run on the high side. Joe Lawrence can get a run on the bottom, but as he carves to the bottom, he scrubs off speed. Sterling Roberts keeps it wound up on the top and is able to keep Joe Lawrence behind him. Lap traffic, this could be big. Here goes the 28 of Joe Lawrence to the bottom.
To the bottom, he has a nose ahead of it, but he's in lap traffic. Can he maneuver it? He does. We have a new leader here, folks. 5 to go. Joe Lawrence from the middle to the front. He is the new race leader. 5 to go. He's into turn 3, maneuvering lap traffic. Sterling Roberts still very, very close, very much in the grasp of Joe Lawrence. Cross the line, 4 to go. It's going to be a heck of a race down the stretch as we have a huge battle. Again, lap traffic is going to be huge for these two in the front to get by, and Sterling Roberts is with 4 to go. When's the right time to make that move, and when is he going to make that move?
Yeah, and it's tough. You're working on making that move, but you're also working to run as hard as you can to keep up to that 28 machine of Joe Lawrence, because it's no fluke that Joe Lawrence started in 12th and drove his way up to the front. He's got a fast race car, and Sterling Roberts is doing everything he can to hang with him as we see Joe Lawrence just tippy-toe away with a 3-car length lead.
That's right, coming to the line. It's going to be 2 remaining here in this 25-lap feature. It's Joe Lawrence in the lead, followed by Sterling Roberts. The 17 of Colin Wilms is in 3rd, but we get the leader, Joe Lawrence, on our screen as he comes into turn 3, out of 3 into 4. He's going to come down the front stretch. White flag is going to be in the air. 1 lap to go, 4 corners for Joe Lawrence for him to come away with a feature win. And as we mentioned, his car's been on rails. He goes out of 2, down the back. He's got a few lap traffic cars. He's got to maneuver into 3, coming out of 3, into 4, one final time. Down the front stretch he comes. Checkered flags in the air. It's Joe Lawrence with the checkered flag. Sterling Roberts 2nd. Colin Wilms will take 3rd. The 40 of Jason Craig 4th, and rounding out the top 5 is the 16 of Dakota Luoma. What a great 25-lap feature race out of this bone stock division.
Yeah, what a drive for Joe Lawrence starting that far back in the field. You could see that his car was just turning that much better than the 15. The 15 had a fast car, but as he was working hard and trying to keep up with Joe, he didn't have the rotate in the center of the corner, and it showed. Joe Lawrence was able to carve through lap traffic with that car rotating a little bit better, and that was the difference. To get through traffic, get up to the front, and once he got up front, there's no looking back.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. The Lawrences are always known for a win and then the fence climb. We'll see what happens here as we wait for Joe to get out of the car, get his restraint harness off, the 5-point harness in the car, his helmet, his Hans device, everything off, and then out of the car he comes, and we'll see what him and his brother do for a celebration here.
Yeah, well, they're known for doing the fence climb, and that's because they accomplished their goal. They worked all week to get a race car here and come to the racetrack and win, so why not celebrate?
There he is, Joe Lawrence out of the car, gives the tap to the roof, and it looks like we're going to send her on down for the trackside interview. Here's Jordan Mosley.
I absolutely love that. The way they line these cars up, they got the fast guys starting in the field. enough that I think it puts on a good show, makes a good battle throughout the pack, and just some good, hard, fun racing.
How much do you enjoy running these bone stocks?
They're just so much fun. It's a different driving style. A lot of the guys in here are great drivers, and honestly, I think they could go head-to-head with some of the late model guys if they had the opportunity. So it's always fun to just be able to race some of Canada's best in whatever we can.
And who do you want to thank?
I just got to thank Chris and Sarah. They give me a car to have some fun in all the time. And that's pretty much all we got on here right now, so pretty empty car.
Chris got the fence climb in. That's efficiency down here in
Yeah, Trevor, just quick here. Your closing thoughts on this feature race?
Yeah, just awesome side-by-side racing anywhere you look through the field. That's one of the great things Delaware does here, and Joe mentioned in his interview, with how they line up these cars. They make some of the faster guys start further back in the pack, so it shows some more good side-by-side racing through the field. If the fastest guys started at the front, they would probably stay up front, and there wouldn't be a lot of side-by-side racing and passing. But with them starting so far back, having to maneuver their way through traffic, it's great to see.
That's right. We'll be back with more Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Ray Collins Chevrolet. Ray saves you money, and that's the key on Chevy, Buick, GMC. Ray Collins Chevrolet. You should drive by Ray today.
After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can leave you in a bad spot. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or a hearse. These unplanned modes of transportation can be a costly choice and do not take you home. Your plan could include a designated driver, a taxi, or public transit. Drink responsibly, choose your ride, and have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
Welcome back. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet. We just finished the 25-lap feature for the Bone Stocks, and now the late models are back on the track, going to finish the 16 laps that were remaining before the rain delay of their first feature. Kyle Steckley will be sitting in the pole position. He'll be the car to set the pace once the green flag gets flying. What do you think these guys now have to do to get their cars obviously back up to speed, get the heat back in the tires and everything like that after what was a 45-minute rain delay plus another feature race in front of them to get back and finish these 16 laps before potentially another 35 laps they got to race later on tonight?
They're going to do exactly what they need to do, and that's what you see them doing on the racetrack here. They're trying to get up the speed a little bit, scrub their tires back and forth, and just get a little more heat back in these tires. So when they go green, those tires are going to stick, and they can do what they need to do there and start being aggressive and making passes, because this is the best opportunity to make those passes while you're side by side and have a chance to do it.
That's right. It's kind of what you watch any kind of racing, and on a restart and a caution and everything like that. It's like, man, you got a guy that's just far and away heads and shoulders above in the lead, and then all of a sudden something happens and the yellow flag comes out. Man, now I got a guy beside me, and I got to have a good restart, or else now I'm not in now I'm not in first position. So, like you said, this is going to be the spot for everybody that's starting behind Kyle Steckley to make that push down the stretch here, trying to gain as many positions as you can in the 16 laps that are remaining.
That's right, and it's going to be interesting to see how this lines up. Kyle Steckley being the leader, he gets to choose. Does he want the inside? Does he want the outside? We've talked about this through the broadcast. Inside, preferred line, shortest way around the racetrack. When you're on the inside, you're also scrubbing a little more speed. You can carry the momentum a little bit better on the top. It's a little bit hit and miss depending on the driver and their comfortability with the race car on the given night on whether they want to try the inside or the outside. We'll see as we come across the stripe here. And Kyle Steckley says, I want the outside. It'll be interesting to see. In my opinion, it's going to be these top two cars that are going to be battling for the win. Sheridan has been very fast this year. He's won a race at Sunset and Delaware Speedway. I was reminded this during the break by the voice of Ontario Racing, Joe Chisholm from Race Time Radio. He said his money is on the 52 of Sheridan. I think that 22 of Steckley looks pretty good. We'll find out.
That's right, 16 laps remaining in the first feature of the late models. Green flag is in the air. We're green flag racing at Delaware Speedway. What a start by Steckley and Sheridan. Side by side, nobody giving an inch as they go down the back into turn 3. It's Steckley by a nose, but Sheridan keeping pace. Out of 3 into 4, they're going to come out of 4 down the front to the stripe. It'll be Steckley by a nose that keeps the lead. It's going to be 15 to go here as they cross the stripe. Steckley trying to pull away down the back. He does get clear of Sheridan, but Sheridan's going to try and keep close on the inside line in the corner. Steckley still in front. Down, across the line. Here we go. It's a great tight race at the front. Sheridan trying to keep that inside line great, and it's nose to tail. He's riding that back deck lid of Steckley out of turn 3 into 4. So now they're going to go into single file, see what Sheridan wants to do, when he's going to try and make his move here. Steckley showing how fast he is and how great of a racer he is.
Yeah, we're all privileged here to watch this race. You see two of the best racers in Ontario, that being the 22 of Kyle Steckley and the 52 of Jake Sheridan, battling nose to tail. You see them door to door, side by each, rubbing ever so slightly. Each one of those guys will get out after the race if something doesn't happen, and they shake each other's hand, because that's good, clean, hard racing. Not wrecking each other, knowing, hey, we're here to have fun on a Friday night, but let's still race hard. We're all competitors. We want to win.
Right, yeah. Like you said, whether Kyle Steckley is racing here full time or not, he still wants to win. He still wants to keep his momentum going for when he does do the APC series and whatever other series he does race. So, like we said before, rubbing is racing. It's going to happen. You're gonna get a couple tire marks on the doors of your car, but it's competitive. It's in good fun. It's in good spirits, and it's just good competitive hard racing.
That's right. You see these guys cross the stripe with 10 laps to go. The 22 is a strong racing machine, and that 52, he's staying right with them. We'll have to see if a caution comes out. Back to what you said, everything could change.
That's right, as we go this time by, it's going to be 9 to go. Kyle Steckley with the ever so slight lead on the 52 of Jake Sheridan. The rest of the field shapes up as Brady Smith is in third, Ray Morneau in fourth, Jesse Kennedy rounding out the top 5. There's the battle for third and fourth right there. Brady Smith just ahead of Ray Morneau, single file. And there we see the 10 of Jesse Kennedy in the picture now as well.
You got to give props to that 03 of Ray Morneau. They finished last in their heat race. That puts them last starting position of this feature. They would have had to start 12th. We work our way across the stripe with 8 laps to go, and you see Morneau working his way to 4th, and he wants 3rd. That car has obviously made some good adjustments because they were competitive in the heat race. So as I mentioned earlier, the track's going to change. Who's going to keep up with those changes? Here's your answer. It's the 03 of Ray Morneau.
That's right, as we see the split screen, top left, the leaders of Kyle Steckley and Jake Sheridan, first and second. Bottom of your screen is still that race for 3rd of Brady Smith and Ray Morneau. Ray Morneau getting to the side of Brady Smith. Does he have a move here into turn 3 to make it a pass out of 3 into 4? But Jesse Kennedy almost trying to make that 3 wide. They'll go single file across the stripe.
That's the difficulty. The preferred groove on turns 1 and 2 is the bottom. You get down there in the bottom of 1, 2, you're in good shape. If you're in the bottom of 3 and 4, that outside groove can roll pretty well, and that's what happened there.
That's right, Ray Morneau does pick up a spot, passing Brady Smith. But Brady Smith did do some good defense there, not letting Jesse Kennedy follow the line of Ray Morneau to lose another spot. So now it's still Brady Smith sitting within the top 4, but it's still that veteran of Jesse Kennedy still trying to make that pass. We go back to Kyle Steckley, Jake Sheridan. It's still nose to tail, and Sheridan's not going to give up. He's got 2 to go at the stripe. They're going to go side by side. Steckley by a nose, passing still in first, but it's still anybody's race as we have 2 to go.
As I mentioned, into turn 1 and 2, that's the preferred groove. Into 3 and 4, the outside groove's preferred. We'll see if Steckley can roll it on the top and clear Sheridan on 4. At the stripe, 1 to go. Sheridan with the 1 car length lead. 1 car length lead behind Steckley.
That's right, as we go down the backstretch one final time in the first feature of the late model division. A little high does Steckley go, racing at the line. Oh my goodness, what
Sheridan.
a finish.
I got Sheridan on that.
My goodness, well, Jake Sheridan, according to the live timing, does get the win there. Oh my goodness.
By a nose, that was ridiculous.
Yes,
wow.
Oh my, less than a nose. Less than a nose. My goodness, as we get the slow-mo zoomed in angle of this. Oh my goodness, what a race. Jake Sheridan finding himself in victory lane by the slimmest of margins. It couldn't get any closer than that. Take us through the last here in the replay.
That was very impressive by Sheridan. You see the 22 slide up a little bit. The 52 got down there. The 22 pinched him as hard as he could, but Jake stayed in it. Little side-by-side contact as they came to the stripe here. The checkered flag's in the air. You're racing for the win. You see it right in front of your face. You can't let off the gas. You can't totally play fair. You want to win. So a little bumping and banging there. It paid off for Jake Sheridan, and I still think that would be accepted in racing. There wasn't any. Jake Sheridan didn't go into turn 3 and 4, drive 2 car lengths deep and shove Steckley up. Steckley, I think, might have overdrove the corner a little bit, or his car got tight, he slid up, and Jake Sheridan pounced on it. That's what you got to do, is put yourself in that position. When the hole opens up, you go for it. Jake Sheridan, one of the best. And Joe Chisholm, as I mentioned, one of the best voices in Ontario racing. He's the guy that called it, so hats off to Jake Sheridan, hats off to Joe.
That's right, we see Jake getting out of the car, giving a nice wave of the checkered flag. He's very excited. We're gonna send it down trackside for the trackside interview.
I didn't know if I had it there while I was waiting. That was an unreal race, win or lose. He might, I didn't mean to get him down here. He just tried to run me off the wall, like a great move. Like, so we got to do on the bottom. I was trying to open my entry as wide as I could, and he was trying to pinch me down. I'm just really happy I didn't get either of us taken out. I had a rear brake in it, and I thought I was going around for a minute too, but I don't think I ever touched him down here in 3 and 4. He was loose as it was, and I was charging the corner hard, but we had a really good car just off that brake. We lowered the tire pressure, and I was eating the track so hard for like 10 laps. I had it really good. I just couldn't get through the middle when I was hitting the track, but what a piece. This McCall Racing cars. But unreal. We struggled here the first night. We're on this 2 in a row here now, 3 out of 5, and this thing's been good. We got 1 more to go. But that's a good race. I don't care who it is. That's an awesome show for the fans. Like, I wish I could watch it again. That was awesome. So thankful for everybody here. Pride Seeds, Vibrant Farms, Raptor Filters, Collins Construction. Everyone's been huge, man. And before I forget, too, really want to wish my condolences to the Zagarati family, local racer here. I know they're going through some hard times, but man, what a feature for these guys.
Jake Sheridan brings home the first one down here in the 52.
We'll be back with more racing after this. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet.
Bring the family to Pizza Hut's all-you-can-eat buffet. Fresh pizzas, pasta, and salads, something for everyone. Great taste, great time, all in one place. Pizza Hut, where family meals are unforgettable.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888-TAXI-GUY or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
Great shot of the moon there as we return to Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet. Man, that feature finish was one of the closest I think I've ever seen here at Delaware Speedway. Trevor, just again, snapshot, just take us through it.
Again, you see Steckley get his way through the center right there. You can see the car just goes straight. It doesn't cut the center of the corner. It gives Jake Sheridan a little bit of a hole, a little bit of an opportunity, and he pounced. He went to the bottom. The 22 did the best he could to pinch the 52 off, and the 52 did the best he could to keep it off the 22. And you see a little bit of contact there. I had a similar finish with a very close friend and competitor, Carson Nagy, last season, and I feel like it was almost a mirror image of that. He did his best to stay off of me. I did his best to stay off of him, but when you're racing for the win that close, a little contact, it's going to happen because you want that checkered flag, you want that trophy, you want to stand down there in Pennzoil Victory Lane. That's why you work all week.
That's right, exactly. That's why you put the time, energy, and effort in. And that's the thing. Both great racers, Kyle Steckley and Jake Sheridan. That's what the good racers are going to do. They're going to see that ever so slight mistake, not cutting the corner well enough in Kyle Steckley. Jake Sheridan's going to pick that tiniest mistake, and it shows by the tiniest margins, gets that victory.
Yeah, and that's honestly what it's all about, is putting yourself in that position to be there, to pounce on it. When he makes a mistake, you say, hey, here's my opportunity. I'm going for it. I'm getting that spot. I'm getting who's inside. It's mainly a one-groove racetrack around here. Yes, there are multiple grooves. You can make passes, but for the most part, that main one groove that everyone runs is the fastest groove. So if you go to the bottom to try and go underneath them on your own while he's still running that higher line, if he's got a good car, you're probably not going to do it because, again, you're scrubbing that speed. It's very hard to go to the outside when they're running their preferred groove to try and get around him there. So you have to wait till he slides up, gets out of his groove, and then you pounce. Jake Sheridan did it.
We're getting ready for the V8 stock feature race here. Lights are off the pace car. Again, we're going to have to deal with that 21.1 second breakout rule as these cars now double up. They're going to come out of 3 and 4 looking for the green flag. And this is the lap that you have to make your charge and get as many spots as you can, because you're not going to break out. You're not. You're not going fast enough to break out. It's once the first lap's done and then you get later on in the race, that is when you're going to break out. So we're waiting for green flag. It's in the air and we're racing. It's the 11 of Jeremy Taggart, who was the pole car. He gets a great start. And the inside groove there kind of runs the train a little bit on the 53 of Kara Martin. The 73 to the outside, he makes a pass. The 73 of Jordan Morris, he's looking real racy to start this. Him and Jeremy Taggart are going to battle for the first and second position.
Crazy maneuver out of turn 1 and 2 there. Jordan Morris was on the wheel. He was ready to go. Just as we talk about, you've got to pounce on those mistakes. The 11 car, sideways. The 73 of Morris says, here's my opening. I'm going to the top. He made a good move to stay out of the back bumper, get to the top, and grab that race lead.
As we get across the line, everybody is okay there, but that Taggart is not going to say, I'm not going away easily there, Jordan Morris. I'm going to be right with you every step of the way. And they're changing first and second position like it's a day job here. They're racing real well.
Yeah, and again, as we talked about, a very hard thing to do to know how fast you're going. They don't have radios, they don't have spotters, they don't have a stopwatch. I don't know how easy it is to count to 21 as you're driving out there 100 miles an hour, but right now they're running 21.6. They're running a lot slower than they usually do. But again, it's hard to judge how fast can we go. A lot of these guys got a slap on the wrist, got a black flag, and had to start at the back in this run because of that. So they're being a little more patient, a little more careful, because they know if we get black flag and there's no caution, there's not much hope in them winning the race.
Well, exactly. That's exactly right. That stop and go penalty could be your race depending on when it happens. You lose that position of first place, it's a lot tougher to gain it back. Like you said, if there's no caution, where you can have that opportunity at your go-up speed to make that charge and get positions back. We have 19 to go here. It's still Jeremy Taggart in the 11 machine with the lead, and then it's the 23X of Ferguson in second, the 73 of Jordan Morris in third, and then it's the Blue Deuce of Doug Stewart trying in fourth, trying to make a charge.
That's right. And the other car that I'm keeping my eye on is a guy that's won a lot of races in this division. He's a 45 of Barry Watson. He's ran the fastest lap of this race today. 21.104, not leaving anything on the table. He had to start at the back, so now he has to have the challenge of working through traffic, passing cars, going as fast as he can, but not breaking that 21.1 second lap.
Barry Watson, as you mentioned, he just made the pass of Kara Martin, as it is Jeremy Taggart leading the way. He does have what was a pretty sizable lead heading out of 4 across the stripe. It's going to be 16 to go here in this feature race. Everybody's still pretty good on the times, Trevor.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say here. Those front 3 cars, they're running pretty consistent and pretty safe times. 21.3 lap second times, and they've been doing that for the last 3 laps. They're being comfortable. They're trying to stay out of, as you call it, the penalty box on the backstretch.
That's right. And Jeremy Taggart is doing a great job at keeping his pace steady, consistent, and flowing. And that's all he needs to do. He just needs to let everybody else kind of chase him and possibly break out. Because if the cars behind him break out, we got a little bit of a replay here as we go split screen. Oh, 53, a little bit of contact.
Caution on the racetrack.
53 of, I believe, Kara Martin got a little bit sideways, made a little bit of contact, caused the caution. As now, this isn't what Jeremy Taggart wanted. As we said, he was very comfortable where he was, running the 21.3s, very comfortable, and he's like, now, hey, everybody's in my rear view mirror. They can't break out, because if they do, they got to stop. And now it's a restart. So we're going to see which cars make that change of, hey, now I can just mash to start it and see if we can make that jump a couple positions before we definitely have to then get back into our strategy of, okay, let's work that 21.1 line as we're one lap to go here under caution. It'll be Jeremy Taggart choosing the inside. Outside of him is the 73 of Jordan Morris. And then row number 2 will be Jeff Ferguson in the 23X. And then in 4th, it's the Blue Deuce of Doug Stewart. 5th is the 95 Lightning McQueen painted car of Lucas Orr. Barry Watson in 6th. Caden Patrick in 7th, Kara Martin in 8th, Chad Clutterbuck 9th, 10th is the 52 of Randy Martin, and then rounding out the field is the 01 of Mike Howard. As we are now gonna come out of 3 into 4, pace car off into pit road. Now the drivers look into the flag stand, waiting for the green flag to fly. They're in the restart zone, green flag flies, and it's Jeremy Taggart
what a great restart for Jeremy Taggart on that, as now he is nose to tail with the 73 of Jordan Morris. Let's see what Jeremy Taggart can do here on a lap where you can just go full out and try and make that gap now what it was before.
That's right. And Jeremy Taggart is being very defensive. He makes sure as he goes down into turn 1, if you're going to pass me, you got to do it on the outside because I'm not giving you the bottom. He's being very protective because he sees that 73 of Jordan Morris, a very experienced and talented driver behind him in the rearview mirror.
That's right. He's not going to want to give Morris any opportunity to make that pass as they are nose to tail. Doug Stewart on the outside able to make a spot. He's going to go into third. As we see the race for first and second, that's a good heated battle between Taggart and Morris. Blue Deuce of Doug Stewart in third, and Ferguson now in fourth. Times there again. Jeremy Taggart doing exactly what he needs to do, staying consistent in that 21.3, 21.4 range, and making sure he is going to stay steady around this racetrack.
And as you look on the screen here, you see the 45 car of Barry Watson. Not many drivers have won more races in this division than the 45 of Barry. Barry, a very experienced driver, and as we mentioned, he started further back in the field. He's working his way to the front. In fourth position now, he's underneath the number 2 of Doug Stewart, and he wants that third spot.
Yes, he does. He's going to come out of 4 on the low side at the line. It looks like he did get that third spot momentarily, but Doug Stewart doing a great job battling him, keeping that battle close, as it's still nose to tail for Taggart and Ferguson as well at the top of the field.
Barry Watson, he's getting through the field, but he's got to be careful. He just ran his second fastest lap of the race at a 21.200. This last time by, 21.177. Barry, you're doing a good job getting through the field. Don't get through it too quick because you might break out.
That's right. He is now all the way into second position as we come out of 3 into 4 out of 4 down the front stretch. It's Jeremy Taggart still in the lead. Barry Watson, he's up to 21.2, so that one's a better lap from him, but he's not gonna go down without a fight. Now he's right on the tail of Jeremy Taggart.
And as I mentioned before, Jeremy Taggart's got that strategy right now. He says, you want to pass me? Go to the top. I'm not giving you the bottom. Barry Watson says, no problem. And he takes it to the outside, looks at a crossover move, doesn't have the jam to get it done. Let's keep that lead to the number 11 of Jeremy Taggart.
And that's right, and it's also Jeremy Taggart's philosophy, I think. Look, if you want to pass me, you're going to have to go faster than me, and that could be a breakout time. But as we go out of 1 into 2 down the backstretch, Barry Watson trying to get to the outside as lap traffic is there, and now they're side by side going down the back into turn 3, coming out of 3 into 4 down the front stretch. This time by, it's going to be 5 laps remaining in this feature race.
That's right, 5 laps to go. We're side by side racing for the lead. As they work their way down the backstretch, the 45 gets a bit better run on the top. The outside group typically a little better in 3 and 4 at keeping that momentum up. It's not just momentum, we gotta worry. Don't break out, guys. There's a time here.
Both of them at the 21.3 mark. It's going to turn into another great finish here. We saw in the late model feature. This one I think is just going to be just as close as these two at the top of the field are not going to give an inch to each other. They're going to fight tooth and nail for it. Jeremy Taggart getting a little bit. Barry Watson crossing the line, and he makes that good push as well, because that's another thing. You have to cross the line above that 21.1. So if you're across that line, mash the gas and then make it your strategy later on in the track to ease up and get that speed under control.
That's right. All these guys have different ideas and different strategies. Barry Watson sends it in very deep on the high side. Looks like he's got a good run down the back. Can he clear the 11? Yes, he can. Jeremy Taggart, he's hungry. He wants to win. He has not been to victory lane for years. He says, not so fast, Barry Watson. 1 to go at the stripe.
1 to go at the stripe. both of them running a 21.4. And oh my goodness, down out of turn 2, down the back for one final time. Here we go into turn 3. This is neck and neck out of 3 into 4, down the front stretch. Here we go, the finish. Barry Watson with the win. He is clean with a 21.245. Barry Watson charging from back of the field to the front and takes the checkered flags. My goodness, what a race that was again. Heck, every feature so far that we've been able to see has been great.
Oh, and you can see here just some awesome side-by-side racing again here in 3 and 4. The drivers both do a good job staying off each other. Looks like it's a close race to the finish. And you see the 11 spike the brakes because he was worried about breaking out there. Again, you want to make it to the finish line first, but if you break out, it's all for nothing.
As we see Barry Watson in victory lane here, he's getting his protective gear off. He'll hop out of the car and celebrate this victory. As we go here, we're going to wait for Barry Watson to get out of his car. Again, heck of a race for Barry Watson to charge from the back of the field to the front and ultimately come away with the victory. What a battle he had with Jeremy Taggart. And here he comes. The helmet is off and everything like that. Now making sure everything's good. He's going to take out the earpieces, get his hat, hop out of the car. There he is. Barry the Bear Watson celebrates there with a victory. And he's just ecstatic after that win. And we'll go down, throw it down to the trackside interview.
Take me through your whole evening.
Oh, we came out onto the heat race there. We were starting last. They had a pretty hurried up night tonight, so we had us all in our only heat. I was a little nervous about that. Maybe it was a good thing that we didn't get to start. Fuel filter was plugged. Got her fixed, and she was a rocket in the feature.
You're killing me, Gibbs. How great was that whole evening?
I can't believe coming from not starting, it gets in your head, and you're like, oh no, what's wrong? We got problems tonight. And then to go start at the back of the feature and actually get back up to the front was amazing. That was amazing. I got to thank all the women, all in my life, all the women that are involved in racing that help out. They're unsung heroes.
Excellent run here from Barry Watson. You got anybody else to thank?
I'll thank Derek's Mowers and Blowers, thank Pennzoil, thank Delaware for getting this in tonight.
And our back-to-back winner here for the Dockstader.
And that is it. It's going to be back with our final thoughts. Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet.
Carbon monoxide is a deadly gas you can't see, smell, or taste.
Homes with fuel-burning appliances and/or attached garages must have working CO alarms installed outside all sleeping areas.
Don't let the silent killer get you. Install working CO alarms today.
Jeff from Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff here, and we are back for another incredible season of Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff. We're going to tour some amazing backyards. We're going to meet up with some great folks, and we're going to cook some incredible food. Join us Thursdays at 7:30 for Chillin' and Grillin' with Jeff.
What would the world be without a bone marrow burger? Or if you couldn't track down the best taco truck surfers? Or never knew Worcestershire sauces and tikka masala could tick all your boxes? What if you'd missed the fried chicken with kimchi and had never melted firsthand for the pierogi grilled cheese? It's so good. Where would you go and what would you try if you didn't get the best tips from the tippiest guy?
You're welcome. All new Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, Friday night at 9 on Food Network.
Welcome back. It's Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Collins Chevrolet. What a great night of racing. Weren't able to get all the features in due to the rain delay that we had to incur, but we had great racing nonetheless. We're going to give it down to Jeremy McGrady in the pits for his final thoughts. Jeremy, what did you think about the night of racing tonight?
Well, thank you very much, Kyle. And yes, an amazing night of racing here at the Speedway. What else do you expect here on a Friday night? The bone stock with a great finish, the pro late models neck and neck right to the line, and then Barry Watson, what can you say, veteran driver getting the job done here at the end of the night. I want to give a special shout out to the crew here at the Speedway to get this track back to being dry after that long, lengthy rain delay. They did a great job of getting this track ready to go. And that's it from me. I'll send it up back to you guys upstairs for your final thoughts as well.
Thank you, Jeremy. Yes, he echoed what we've been talking about all night. This crew here is remarkable at what they do to keep the safety of the drivers and the crews and everybody first and foremost top priority, and able to get 3 of the 4 features in is unbelievable after what was a 45-minute rain delay. Trevor, kind of take us through your final thoughts as to what you thought the night brought and what the fans were able to see here tonight.
Yeah, I would like to give both of us a pat on the back to say we predicted an awesome night of racing, and that's exactly what you got. There was side-by-side racing all throughout the field in each one of those races. Again, huge round of applause, pat on the back to Delaware Speedway, everyone who stuck with it and got this racing in tonight. There was a couple times where we looked at each other during that rain delay, and said, you know, we're positive people. We like to think they're going to get this in, but I don't know. And that guy behind us, Sean Gibbs, he had some faith and he saw a window and put a plan together to get some bone stocks out there. We got the track dried off, and it was some great racing. I think if you look back at the 3 winners, experience really shined through tonight with Joe Lawrence winning in the super stocks, Jake Sheridan winning in the late models, and then Barry Watson in the V8 stocks. Just a fantastic night of racing that glad everyone stayed on board and watched us call these great races tonight.
That's right. And again, we got to say a big thank you to you to stepping in and filling in. Hey, if you weren't going to race, why not come to Delaware anyway and put on the headset and give some great color commentary for our viewers on Rogers TV. We'll be back next week. Rogers TV's broadcast of Delaware Speedway Racing on Rogers TV, brought to you by Ray Cullen Chevrolet. For myself, Kyle Friel, Trevor Culver, and Jeremy McGrady down in the pits, and the entire crew that put on this broadcast tonight, thank you for watching, and come back next week.
Absolutely. Isaiah Prince, if you caught that, almost warming up that leg. I'd be surprised if he goes for a big boot here during this matchup.
Absolutely. Seems like something that would 100% be in the repertoire of Isaiah Prince.
You do not want to catch that size, I don't even know what, to the face either.
Size hurts. That's the only thing that matters. Don't be quiet.
Brian White taking a deep breath here as he looks ahead at the challenge. Isaiah Prince, one of the bigger men here, one of the biggest in Hammerlock Pure Wrestling.
Absolutely. Brian White just measuring him up here, wondering what he needs to do. Definitely a game plan forming in White's mind. The question is what?
Hey, he's a fan. Do you have any?
And you also got to believe Vikram Prasher is watching this matchup closely. Or is he? Do you think he cares?
I imagine he'll get the footnotes from Prince at the end of it, but, you know, if I was Prasher, I would keep a very close eye on Brian White, just at the precipice of being a #1 contender here in Hammerlock Pure Wrestling. You have to imagine Brian White versus Vikram Prasher with the championship on the line is something we will see in the not-too-distant future.
Absolutely. And you wonder if Vikram Prasher even supports his own men in the Punjabi payroll, or if he's too busy sipping champagne and polishing his trophy.
I imagine that he supports them with a paycheck, and that's good enough for Vikram. But what do I know?
Smile on the face here of Isaiah Prince as he knows he has that power advantage.
He knows he is primed to inflict some pain on the honorable one.
Some early forearms in, though, for Brian White, and trying to take control of that arm. Break the big man down any way you can. Oh, caught right by the throat.
Just grabbing White, stopping him in his tracks. Prince just showing off his raw power.
Manhandling Brian White right to the corner there, and White able to slip out. He needs to use everything he has. You mentioned the heart of Brian White. You got to believe he's got a little bit of the speed advantage being the smaller man.
No question. They're going for a low chop on Prince. You don't see that much to the abdomen.
Cuts the big man down here to one knee at least. You got to take that as a win early on in this matchup.
Absolutely. And one thing we haven't spoken about yet, just the experience advantage has to go to Brian White in this match, no question. Game plans have to be formulated in White's mind, and you know that's just something that you only get from experience, and White has plenty of that in between these ropes. Crowd at the Elgin
the biggest
County.
chicken I've ever seen.
Absolutely. The crowd at the Elgin County Railway Museum maybe getting to Isaiah Prince a little bit here.
Look at this, these young fans in the face and taking the focus off of the matchup there.
Well, what's Prince doing here?
Oh, right on the edge of the ring there. As we know, that's the hardest part of the ring.
There is no give on the edge of that ring, and White just being slammed down spine first into it. Not the type of impact you want to feel if you're Brian White.
And that's also something you don't want to feel. Did you hear the knuckles?
Speaking of impact, that has to be a broken hand for Isaiah Prince.
Oh, he's in shock right now. As he just put a full force back chop right into that ring post.
My goodness, you could hear that over to the next county over.
That is really not going to help his game plan for this matchup.
Absolutely not. How are you supposed to choke someone out when you can't feel your fingers?
And White now up to that second rope.
And again, this is the experience of White. Saw the opening, took it. Now just on the advantage, but Isaiah Prince just strong-arming him down.
Huge chop! Absolutely.
Still has a working hand, and my God, did Brian White feel it.
That was a Barry Bonds swing with that one.
Went for the fences and hit it.
And now, he may have wanted to go for the cover after that chop.
Just looking to
looking for another one.
Just looking to inflict pain on the honorable one.
Rolled Brian White right over on that one.
Almost like Isaiah Prince is saying, how dare you move out of the way of that chop? Here's 3 more for your troubles.
And absolutely showing the toughness. I don't know if he's using the other hand or if he's just fighting through that pain or just showing that even a ring post can't stop him.
Well, seem to do nothing but anger Isaiah Prince.
I guess if your hand's already numb, keep going with it, right?
Absolutely. You can't feel pain that way. If Vikram Prasher is watching, you have to imagine there is a smile ear to ear on his face, seeing the performance of Prince.
Again, the chop.
White
tearing through the chest of Brian White. That'll stop your heart.
Absolutely. White wincing in pain.
Huge suplex now.
You can see Prince know he has the momentum, a smile going to his face. Confidence is high.
You got to imagine if you visit the Buffalo area and the New York wrestling scene, they know all about Isaiah Prince's chops.
Absolutely. A force to be reckoned with over in Buffalo, making his mark in Hammerlock Pure Wrestling.
And White in the corner, able to dip out of the way outside of the ring.
Just in the nick of time. Prince getting nothing but turnbuckle there.
And using that speed to get back up quickly. Second rope, looking for the double axe handle.
But Prince
caught
waiting,
though.
wait.
Look out, the Uranagi there completely taking out Brian White. But as we know, takes a lot to keep Mr. White on the mat for 3.
Isaiah Prince being a very tall man, that Uranagi is a long way down, but not enough to take out the honorable one there.
Come on, Brian.
And just toying with him now as he fixes his knee pads here with a smile on his face. Isaiah Prince is a beast here.
But the crowd firmly behind the honorable one, Brian White, willing him to get back in this match.
You know, you also got to be impressed with the endurance of Isaiah Prince. This is a big man.
Look at
moving
this here.
quickly and not even phased.
Prince just showing his strength.
Showing Brian White once again how to execute the chop.
It's almost like every time White hits Prince, it gets him a little angrier and just makes him switch gears, get stronger, more powerful, more enduring. An incredible performance here from Isaiah Prince.
You know, I hope Vikram Prasher doesn't hear this, but huge scoop slam now. You may have to be worried at Isaiah Prince going after a heavyweight championship here in Hammerlock Pure Wrestling.
Absolutely. A force to be reckoned with is Isaiah Prince. But the honorable one still in this match.
Very much so. Breathing heavy on the mat, though. As you can imagine, so many chops to the chest here. You got to be winded.
Isaiah Prince not really following through with the offense after a pinfall. Gonna have to keep on the honorable one if you want to get him down.
The crowd letting him know that was only 2 and that getting to him a little bit. I don't know if that helps or hinders Brian White with the crowd getting under the skin of Isaiah Prince.
That's a great question. It might lead to Prince making a mistake if he gets frustrated.
The chops continue. There's got to be no feeling left in the chest of Brian White. Thrown off to the other corner, and look out!
Just wait a minute.
Tripped up. Isaiah Prince maybe took a bit of the chin on that turnbuckle there.
Exactly. Prince just stalling a second too long, giving Brian White the opening he needs. But will White be able to muster up the offense?
Out.
But he's starting here.
He's got him up.
Prince.
And back down. Oh, shot to the midsection. Look out, swinging neck breaker.
Knocking the big man down. Looks like he's on Dream Street.
He's got to go for the pin.
Can White do it?
1, 2, no.
Still fight left in Isaiah Prince. That swinging neck breaker, not enough to bring it home for the honorable one.
Now here's the question. This is where Brian White needs to dig deep, as he always does.
And if you
he
know
thought that might have been enough.
If there's someone on the roster who can dig deep enough to win, it's Brian White.
Got the big man, follows him along with a knee to the midsection here. Gonna do the same on the other side. Try to wear him down.
Great wrist control from White here.
Hung up on the ropes, look out! Oh! Isaiah Prince! And the elbow right to the back of the neck.
Prince had to be very careful there. Sending White over the top rope would have been a disqualification here in Hammerlock Pure Wrestling.
That's a great point. He put just enough force to hang him on top of the ropes there. Knocked the wind out of him once again, but he wasn't able to topple over there, which is a good thing for Isaiah Prince.
Prince missing that shot.
Look out!
And White, like a house on fire, throwing himself into that clothesline, knocking the big man down.
A desperation clothesline. Finally looking to wear the man down and covering Prince too.
Just 2. Isaiah Prince having enough time to recover after that flying clothesline. Both men going into the deep waters in this match. Impressive performance. The St. Thomas Elgin County Railway Museum is getting a heck of a performance from both of these men tonight.
Brian White warming that leg up.
And Prince has him up.
Did not get the opportunity though. Look out! Oh, down goes White. That's gotta be it. 1, 2, no!
A gale force wind-like maneuver, knocking White down but not out. Isaiah Prince says, here comes the pain. Brian White says, not today.
Unbelievable.
But White, you can see it took everything he had to kick out of that move. Hasn't moved.
Look out, the elbow pad is off now of Isaiah Prince.
The White's still down. Prince
just stalking him at this point.
Laying in wait. Prince realizing.
Distracted now. Realizing, hey, wait, maybe White's not getting up. Maybe I should be going for the cover here once again. And dragging him up by the hair. He's got to watch. He gets a handful of hair there. Look out, here it comes. No. White. I'm not sure that was a defensive maneuver. I think he just collapsed.
Yeah, I think just the fatigue is setting in for the honorable one after taking that huge maneuver from Isaiah Prince.
The referee is checking on Brian White now. If he can't continue, this matchup may have to be. It looks like White getting to his feet, just taking a breather on the outside here. Well, Isaiah Prince, again, just lightly shoving our referee here, letting them go though.
But there's still some fight left in White. Not much, but enough.
Oh, look out! Oh!
The inexperience of Isaiah Prince on display there, giving a Brian White an opening. What's White going for here?
Oh! Both men went for a maneuver, and the foot caught the face of Isaiah Prince before he could get that clothesline off.
Yeah, Brian White definitely getting the best of that. Getting Prince up. Whatever is left in White gets him down with that Death Valley driver.
1, 2, 3. Brian White has done it.
Brian White dug as deep as he could possibly go. Getting that Death Valley driver off, that's enough to put the big man down. You can't take anything away from Isaiah.